Same bad time, same bad chattel tomorrow.
Brendo's at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here. Just reading through some energy headlines today. Crude oil, if you haven't looked throughout this session, has gotten absolutely clobbered, down almost 6.5 or 6% at one point, 5.5% right now. Trying to roll over here back towards $72. We ended the day yesterday at 76.5. So huge move down on fresh demand concerns after, I guess, this meeting between China and the U.S. yesterday. Biden and Xi obviously didn't really come to any conclusion as far as improvement. More question marks surrounding both economies, whether or not we'll see any kind of growth in the next little while, and demand obviously a big concern. So yeah, oil stocks specifically going to be under pressure here to the downside today. They're way down here. Getting absolutely crushed, 3+% across the board for the most part. XOM standing out a little bit better than the rest, but 3% for CVX. MRO there, 3.9% among the worst off. Tesla among the worst off individually today as well, down 4+. Some of the retailers still getting hit coming off earnings. We'll touch on that coming up here, but yeah, Walmart down 7%. Can't really say that every single day. 2.7% for Costco, meanwhile. 0.5% it was for Home Depot, now 0.6, TJX 2+, Amazon, yeah, 0.5%, just going back into red there. On this board again, the size of the box is market cap related, not move related, so you kind of have to adjust the way you're looking at it a little bit because of that. Eli Lilly down here again, 0.7%. We'll touch on that coming up this afternoon. Negative for the banks for the most part across the board. Berkshire standing out there a little bit more positive. Strength in tech, that's about it. Nvidia, Broadcom, Nvidia was back to basically flat at one point. 0.4 right now, 2% for AVGO downside. Everything else in this group there or thereabouts trying to offset an otherwise pretty choppy day. 8.5% meanwhile for Carvana. CBNA downside on a note that Amazon apparently is going to start selling used cars online in the US. So heads up for any online-based used car dealer or retailer in the U.S. So CBNA about to make a day low here on pretty heavy volume. Foot Locker popped up as well during the lunch period there on a note with the, I think it was the NBA long-term deal. But they, gave all that back and then some. So day lows trying to bounce right now for FL, 5.25%, still in negative territory. Overall, that's how the market is looking right now. 13.5% bottom to top here in 14 days. So a bit of a pullback underway for the market overall. Yeah, treasuries downside a little bit, or yields, I should say, downside a little bit here today. The dollar downside, as we saw this morning. Frank Caberna coming up this afternoon. We'll dig into a little more on not only what they will need to cut going into next year, but possibly when we could see that starting as far as the Fed is concerned. So, the language seems to be shifting more towards the cutting side than it is towards whether they will or will not have any more hikes for us in store. Let's jump into, though, what we were talking about. If you were with us in the pre-market this morning, we were touching on a whole bunch of things. China was a broad topic. There was a number of individual catalysts once again. Alibaba, obviously, front and center with earnings and a forecast that was a little bit concerning. They're also going to shelve that spinoff of their cloud division for Alibaba. So downside in a huge way. Some EV strength about mid-morning kind of faded out as well. So Chinese ADRs, guys, across the board have been a little bit of a problem today.
Well, so the answer, yes, they've been a bit of a problem. However, you got to look at how the stocks have traded like throughout the day. It's not always what the percentage move is. And at least today, we talk about the Chinese ADRs. I was in 3 of them. And look, Pinduoduo is going to be a lesson on, some of the data is missing on the chart, but it's going to be a lesson on, sort of 2 stories of how to make a similar trade. Now, obviously, it ends up working out for me, but anyone that was looking at it this morning, I like the fade on PDD in sympathy to Alibaba's earnings being to the downside and the entire group being down. So I was sort of looking for the short. Pinduoduo was failing this triple top at about 112 on the daily chart. So I was looking for the short underneath that level, or failing. You can't see it there. There we go. Failing yesterday's support levels, right? So as long as it stayed red, I was looking for the short on the way back up in PDD, but I got in early, stopped out for 60 cents, got it. You can't see the second out, but that's getting in early again and getting out. So at that point, I'm shooting 0 for 2 on PDD. But the difference is at least this short, it had made a high and was coming back in. Like, that's about the only thing that was good. This one would have been okay if it had made that high and come back down, but that's not how I took it. I actually took it as it was going still to the upside. But then it made that wick high. This one right here, exhaustion style candle up to 114 and slammed back down. That's just a much better entry. So I was able to get in there, doubled up because it was a hammer top. And then it made a lower high, showed me a lower high, got in the third lower high and played it to VWAP. It's still holding VWAP. This is actually a bullish looking chart, even though it's down 1.7%. So again, I know it's down 1.7%, but it held the low. It then is holding higher lows throughout the day. So I'm not back into this. It would probably have to flat bottom break. I was briefly in a long on Alibaba because it was holding this 80-cent level. Oh, sorry, $80 level, 80 cents. God, if Baba was at 80 cents, back up the truck. But yeah, it was holding 80 very, very briefly at the open. I thought it was going to make a relief rally as well. It got to 80.50, took 50 cents, and then stopped out break even. It's done nothing but trend back in to 78. The thing about 78 for Alibaba is this would be support on the daily. So it's bouncing, or at least attempting to bounce off that support, and it hit 10% to the downside as well. So Baba goes 10% down, and is trying to hold on to this morning support level, 78.23. If it wicks that bottom, I would look for a relief rally long in Alibaba. And then the last one, I was in NEO for a single bounce. It didn't quite get to VWAP off that 715, which we left you with. But then this happened shy of VWAP, and it stopped me. It trailed me out. So we had 718s long. It never went any higher than 728. Maximum was about 10 cents, and then it was going sideways. When this bottom broke, I just got out of it because, to me, things had changed. So the ADRs worked today. However, it should have been fantastic. Like, if I just follow my own rules on PDD in terms of when you try to short a stock that's moving up, then it would have gone a heck of a lot better than it did. But they all still worked out. It's just a matter of refining so you get perfection instead of just good.
Thank you, Espinoza. I love you too. Okay, look, FXI is what we can be all about. I've been talking about this for a very, very long time. I didn't even look at, like I said, the sticky note was, didn't have anything from China on there. I didn't get the watch list, and I should have been looking at Alibaba near that $80 mark. But I think this 25 is a great spot. So we'll wait for it to come back in. I like to buy it. I feel like if we come back into here, this 25 on FXI, this is the large cap ETF for large cap China. So I like it. I feel like it gets you everything just as an ETF. It's not super volatile, as you can see, but I feel like if it's going to get all sorted out and you're going to have some sort of tailwinds coming from the President Biden and Xi and talking about maybe they lift the ban or whatever for those Nvidia chips. I don't know. I could just see this getting back up to the upside. And just like the same way I could see if there's any political turmoil, then China would be a problem. And then you'd be able to get out possibly if you broke back down below like this 24.80, even if you go down here 23. Like at some point, this ETF right here, because of where it's come from, and I don't think we're ever getting back. Like I said, I'm stuck Alibaba. I'd have to go find where I'm stuck, but and I should do that. And by the way, someone that asked today, I did get out. We could talk about this right now because why not? You know, and being honest, that's what we're doing. And I got out of Shopify, and again, I'm just doing what I'm telling you guys, right? Like, so I got out of Shopify today. Got out of a quarter. Someone asked me how many shares. I'm telling you right now, a quarter of the position because of this huge monster run up. I feel like it's time to sort of raise some capital here and wait for some pullbacks in some of these names. For example, like when Nvidia beats and then goes down 20%, I want to have cash to buy any Nvidia dip. So thank you for asking about Shopify. I know they asked Sharif on the midday show. So it's Shopify. I did sell a quarter of the position. Back over to the desk.
SGBX, little one just popping up. I was going to look into that. Before I do that, let's talk about Walmart. Let's talk about some retailers in general. Daily chart tells the story here. What a gap, and then just no attempt whatsoever to get back to the upside. I wanted to stay on a daily time frame to show you that as well. Volume, you got to zoom out here. I mean, wow, we got to go back a long way. Beginning of the year, maybe, the last time we saw this kind of volume behind a day in Walmart. And hey, there's still 2 hours to go. But the good news, if there's anything, they're going to work on lowering grocery prices because, I don't know, have you noticed that there's like this trend on different platforms now? People go grocery shopping, then get home, dump it on a table, and then post a picture of it and say, this cost.
Because there's so much food
It's insane. It's insane.
Because there's so much food inflation. Sorry about that. Look, Brendo, it was an interesting story. I mean, they beat on the top and bottom line, but it was the end of the quarter that kind of caused some concern for some of the executives there. They say that the outlook saw slower consumer spending towards the end of October. Like I said, revenue was up big, 160 billion versus last year, 152. Profit was there, $453 million they made on the quarter. Compare that to last quarter when they lost 1.8 billion, but it was because of the opioid payout that they had to do there. E-commerce sales was up, Brendo, 24%. Revenue from ads was up 26%. So good direction.
There was a few headlines floating around in Toronto the past couple of days because the grocery retailers here reported once again, and it was once again massive profits, and everyone was up in arms because of that. But anyway, I was telling Sharif a couple of weeks back, I have an egg guy now. I'm not even joking. I have an egg guy now.
I need to get the egg guy from you, Brendo.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, these days, you want to have an egg guy. I don't know, like the way I see it, like one of two things. Either I want Sharif's egg guy, or Sharif needs to spread the love. He can afford to have 14 eggs every single day. I want to know what's up. He can afford 14 eggs a day, but he can't get the crew a cup of coffee. I'm just saying. And specifically Starbucks. But Walmart, the number of names taking it on the chin today in the 5 to 10% down when the market is flat. Like the NASDAQ is flat, okay, down 0.2. The ES is down 0.1. Walmart's down 8%. I just saw someone post in the chat that SoFi was having a rough day, and I noticed that SoFi is almost down 10%. I didn't even realize it was having that bad a day. I feel the same way about Walmart I did this morning. I didn't think a trade was going to set up that I was going to like, and it ended up being true. I would have looked for a bounce off somewhere near the 200-period moving average. Again, on a daily moving average, I just want to see it bounce. Show me a consolidation above I would have looked for, but it just hasn't happened. You only could have had that trade early in the pre-market if you're willing to take it. And it continues to flush to the downside. Like you're still seeing it go down. It's about to retest the pre-market lows here at 155.5. I'd look for a bounce somewhere in front of 154. It's just a matter of, at this point, it's just a matter of where that's going to be. Ugly name today in terms of retail. The other one, I was in Amazon. I'm not in it anymore. Again, it ran. So here's Amazon, as it was at this top from yesterday. So right in here where it closed at 143.25 was where it closed. I was in the short, scalping, and then it ran stops at the high when the market was looking strong. Now it's all the way back at VWAP. There was a point where logically it made sense to me that Amazon coming off the highs, wicking these daily tops, stair-stepping it down for a couple of days as people take profits because the thing was up like 20% in, what was that, like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks? Something like that? 2.5 weeks, let's call it. 20% in 2.5 weeks. It made sense with other retail names weak. Okay, Amazon's pulling back, but I got jiggled out of a short, which I wish I could say I was still in it. But Amazon still weaker than the overall market, even if it didn't do that at the open. Bad day for the retailers.
Yeah.
Pretty much across the board.
We had a big Amazon short as well that we got stopped out of. That kind of sucks. But Neil, what do you think about this Roblox trade here? I just got out. What are you thinking about that out right there? 38.25. We just took 75 cents.
I want to trail this one. I don't remember who was bringing. Somebody reminded us of Roblox. What's interesting is, Roblox is on here? Okay. Well, we're talking about it now anyways because Sean just asked. I didn't realize Roblox was going to be on the rundown. But we had talked about this level on Roblox in the pre-market, like here at 37 for a potential dip buy. Now, obviously, when the stock is trading, and it was all in the context of I wouldn't touch it unless I'm shorting 42 or longing 37, and the stock was at 39.5. So I don't think we really expected to be there at half an hour into the morning. But that's what happened. And then someone in the chat decided to remind us that, hey, Roblox is at 37. And it made thankfully didn't have to take an L before winning because it had already made a bottom. I probably would have been in at least once for a loss, I think, if I had seen this. But I want to trail it because it's right here. Like the actual 930 bottom was 38.38, which to me was like, that's like the target, generally speaking. When it goes into that low it made right at the open, then I want to get out either at that or leave it a chance to break it. So I'm trailing it now that it got to that level. So I'll probably give up 10 to 15 cents to see where it can go, and I'm going to cancel my bid. But I'll tell you, it's one like Roblox specifically. Roblox has been a very good sort of technical level stock ever since it made this bottom at 25, right? Like it made a bottom at 25. It then kind of went level up. Next consolidation, 30 to 32. It broke to 32. The top end of this range, which was 33, it held that for a couple of days as the bottom, made the next breakout, got above the 200 period. Now it's holding 37 above the 200 period moving average. Like when it makes the next step up, you've essentially been able to buy the dip at the first sign of support. I don't think that's going to last forever because when the market rolls over, it's going to roll over too. But so far, so good for Roblox. It was a bit of a gift today, but you know what? The thing about it is, like, I'd say lucky someone reminded us, but the level was the level. So
Yeah, we looked at it earlier.
yeah, and I wanted to give credit. I just don't remember who it was. It was yelling, "Hey guys, look at Roblox."
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was.
I don't know. Okay, so right here, I just want to say shout out to Trader Luke, who's probably here. He took my advice and shorted Target and banked out on it. So there you go, man. Congratulations to Trader Luke. Again, another trader that's hit the sticky note. Talked about it on the show. So good job there, Trader Luke. Look, there's the short at 130 that he had, and here's some covers. So congratulations, Trader Luke, and I do appreciate the shout out there on Twitter for that trade. And I mean, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about community and building that. There's Target right now making that top at 130.50. We should have probably gotten short there. We're short right now AMD. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, nice move downside right there. Target. We called this one. Probably should be short 130.40 right here. That's a good level. We'll look to short that if it gets back up there, guys.
You're back. Like yeah. Anyway,
So fun.
let's touch on Cisco, looking Walmart-esque here this afternoon, back towards day lows as well. Just broke through 47 once again. Yeah, they cut their guidance full year 24 next quarter as well. Not looking good for CSCO this morning.
Yeah, it was interesting look here was really the guide, like you mentioned, Brendo. They were saying like they saw a slowdown in orders, mainly because clients are busy installing and implementing products after a strong delivery in the 3 previous quarters. So it looks like the fourth quarter might be quiet. Let's see how Q1 of 2024 does. But look, net income was up, $3.64 billion. The street was looking for $2.67. Revenue, $14.67 billion. That's a 7.6% increase year over year. The guide is really the only issue.
Yeah, not much to do here today. It's been kind of back and forth unless you're looking out of the gate. Downside for Cisco.
Oh wow.
Which we were. So
But Intel just dropped like 20 pennies in a single candle. I just got trailed out of Intel. That's the biggest down candle in the bit.
Yeah, we've done really well on Intel. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you asked a kind of a, I don't know if it was a rhetorical question there or not, but we definitely hit that one early. Who was looking downside? I mean, again, I just talked about this. I shouldn't have done it with Trader Luke, but right on here, Cisco, $46. So to answer the question, who was looking there early? I know both of us were. It was just a zoom out kind of a level. And if you're saying like, what is this thing that he's holding up in front of his face all the time? It's right there. There it is right there. It's Cisco. We talk about it. So we can pretend to talk about trades or actually put them on here and take them. So I did it, right? We didn't get the biggest amount of shares that we wanted to, in honesty. I should have really loaded into this because it made that bottom at 20. Like that, for me, that's about as close, you know, like honestly, like that's, just without sitting there, which I wasn't, you know, that's about, I mean, we got 32s, but making that 20 bottom, I mean, that would have given me 30 cents or so worth of risk because, again, we probably hold it a little bit, honestly, we probably hold it a little bit past that level. We probably hold it a little bit past 46 anyways. But that was the long. And then immediately 15 cents, then you're starting to get, you know, more like that 30, 40 cents right there to protect us against the bottom. Then there's another route at 80. We still were uncertain of where this stock wanted to go. It bounced around for a couple minutes, and then it really took off. And then that's where we let it do this. I was thinking it was going to do this upside, but instead came back in, gave you another good opportunity down there at 46.80, but that would have been a risk because you think it's falling back. And then once again, once it makes its way all the way back up, so this could be, once again, almost a perfect trade. I mean, other than getting too much out early, but that's what we do. Holding that last 20% to get out right there, pretty key. And you can see that 47.50 held it over and over again. So again, congratulations to anybody that was looking at that level. And then for me, again, it was just, people are going to say, where did you come up with it? It's just here. And we even wrote it down, going back to the May lows again on here. So just putting on our technician hat there, and found a level. It supported it. So we took it. So that's Cisco. Try to do some more of those, man. And I feel like on earnings plays, that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for like extended moves. And you got one in Target yesterday, and you're definitely getting one in Cisco down today, down 11%.
Yeah, it gave the SSR bounce. The difference for me is the R&R didn't set up. The only distinction, I mean, you guys can all see where this 46 came from. That's why it was all over the notes in the early pre-market. When you look for an SSR bounce, it's a bonus. A couple things are a bonus. One, an even dollar level, because that's where a lot of liquidity tends to be. And then the second bonus would be support on the daily chart, especially if it's an established stock, which, let's be real, like Cisco is the kind of thing that people are probably wanting to buy on dips, generally speaking. So you get that bit of an edge as well. So there's a lot of things that come into that level. However, there was that 46 wasn't like a hard 46 even. The actual support was down here at like 45, 60 to 70. So I didn't get into position. I was waiting a little bit tighter to 46 even. My perfect setup for this is when you actually break the level and come back up through. So might have missed out on that opportunity, but it didn't quite set up perfectly. I apologize for these wicks on the chart. I don't know that there's much of a trade for this in the afternoon, but just because it's not setting up for anything this afternoon, I wouldn't discount this tomorrow, because tomorrow it's still going to be SSR. It's still short sell restricted tomorrow, putting another relief rally in play. And I'm not saying it's going to rally tomorrow, but it's already held down here once. If it holds this same level as a higher low, I'd play off that tomorrow at the open, looking for a day two play, because the short sell restriction only applies for the day that it's down 10% and then the following day. So it'll still be in play tomorrow for the similar style of trade.
Huh. I just learned there's something called insomnia cookies. Ah. I wish we had that here, but we do not. Oatly, just popping up in front of me here. OTLY, the, what is it, vegan milk, I guess? Okay. 35% day highs here on volume as well. Now available nationwide in the US at Insomnia Cookies, apparently. So good for Oatly. Let's talk Intel. You guys were discussing Roblox there. So Intel just making a day high there, a bit of a pullback back to 43 right now. I mean, there was an upgrade this morning for Intel. Nice note from Mizuho. Price target increase as well, but not a heck of a lot as far as news for this one.
Yeah, 52-week highs, Brendo. That 43 level has been recycled over and over. Key resistance level right now on Intel. Like Brendo mentioned, Mizuho raising their price target to 50 from 37. So keep an eye on there. And then separately, I saw another headline here that the U.S. is announcing a partnership with the Philippines to explore semiconductor supply chain opportunities. Now we know that they're throwing their hat in the foundry ring. This might benefit them somewhat. Also, should mention that Biden is speaking now at the APEC summit, making comments.
Yeah, don't worry about him. They make a jingle bread cookie cake.
Ooh. Any opportunity we can get a sample of that around here, Brendo?
I'm totally down.
Can we expense it, Brendo? Oh, that we can expense. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be clear about that. Okay, so no, look, I'm down with expensing a pastry. That's just not always the answer we get. A couple of things. So obviously, we already talked about Roblox. So from Roblox, let's talk about the chips. Why not? As far as most people, I think a lot of people have been trading Intel today, and the general consensus is Intel just broke out of a daily channel today and broke out a local high. So simultaneously, there we go. Simultaneously, you were breaking this local top yesterday, which was the $40 level. Then you go all the way back to July of 2022 at 41, and it broke that top. And then on top of that, you broke the channel high here at about, I mean, it's a trend line, so it's not science, but about 41.5. So you had all of those things breaking into the upside. I didn't join it till just now. I was shorting the initial channel top when it broke. So I didn't get the long. I was bullish on it at the open, but I did not get, I was thinking market dip. If you get bearish, what happens sometimes, this is what can happen if you have a little bit of a slight bias. If you're thinking that you're going to pull, markets pulling back, then I'm going to favor dip buying on a stock, and I'm going to like something like the previous close. So Intel here never gets anywhere close to the previous close when it dips. It doesn't even break or threaten the pre-market low, and then it's just like a clean top breakout, which if you're just taking a top break, it's fantastic. But I was looking for more of a dip buy. I shorted it. It worked once, it then didn't work twice, so it was down on Intel, and I knew it was, at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay away from it. It makes another high, but then look at it hold that same level we're trying to short it. So I just said, okay, if it's gonna stair step up, breaks the high, pulls back, and then just go long at that high, and then stair step to the upside. I'm now out of it as we trailed out of that one. And I just wanna throw it out there, Insomnia cookies may be good, but Katrine's mom makes a fantastic brownie, which I think is going to be better. She's not here, but it was delicious.
All right. Why Brothers United here? You're welcome for the Intel trade, man. I mean, this is what we're doing. Like, there's the trade. Wait for it to make the move up. Find a key level. So you know what's good there. Why Brothers? Thank you so much. And then we tried it again at the top. So we don't have that long. Right there, you did. So that's for you a great trade, and yeah, good job on that one right there. Grabbing this short, getting it out. I mean, we got it. I mean, that was it. We're out. So we were out of Intel right there at 41.81, capturing that 70 cents. You know, and then we got this is like, Sharif, what was that? You said something the other day. It was like eat like a bird and then poop like an elephant or something. So that's what it's about, right? You putting on the big shares, hold a little bit of something, get out as it comes back in, because again, we have shares. So you get out as it comes back in, hold something for the win, which we did down to VWAP, which was a monster trade. I mean, we had this is the whole move down. There's only one move down today, right? And then you notice also that it starts to base out. So this one, the mistake of the day right there for Intel, which has been one of my top stocks. We talked about that and is again today. 41.80 could have been long again. We tried it there, got out, back and forth, blah, blah, blah. New position alert, just because you guys might be seeing it. Google's tanking. So I took an early trade here, thinking that this market wanted to go. The market's pulling back now. I do want to average in. That's 75. Oh, my bid's at the wrong spot. I was going to wait down until 50s. So down here into the 200 period. But I am bidding 69s. So I thought, all right, so this has just moved up. Like when we had this, it was down here. So I still feel fine. We'll still bid 70s, 69, 70s. I'm actually bidding 69 because that is where it was. So we'll just keep it there. Maybe we'll put it to 70, trying to average it back into there. And then because I thought this was a breakout trade with Google being strong today, I still think there's a lot of upside potential. So by the time we have an average price, our average price will be like 85. And then we'll deal with it from there. And then probably, unfortunately, if it breaks this 200 period, then we're going to have to get out. That's at 50. So we talk about this. Don't be afraid of your trade. Put the trade on that you believe in, right? And I mean, and we're short AMD. Oh, we don't have semis on there. Okay.
Well, we didn't change Roblox, but like that was an opportunity to talk about semis.
Yeah, Roblox was a great trade, guys, today. I mean, we put that on, out. And again, 2 outs here at VWAP. And then honestly, this is a mistake. I'm not sure why I put that there. Maybe at the bottom, maybe, I'm not sure. But we got out of that. Probably would have still held it. Probably hold this until the 50 period breaks. But we're already out of Roblox. And again, it's a big stock. So, another profitable move there for Roblox. All right, let's go over to PanW. Before I look at it, we talked about buying that yesterday in and around that 230 area. So I'm interested to hear what the story is, and I'm going to chart it myself.
Yeah, earnings after the close yesterday were a mess. Downside, it was a forecast as well for this one. Downside in a big way after the close. We did try to bounce, but really hasn't been much to do today. I mean, it tests lower initially, and then we've kind of been stuck inside the range here. after you have the details there for the earnings report.
Yeah, Brendo, they beat on the top and bottom line. It was the guide, again, much like Cisco, that was the problem. Nikesh Arora, the CEO of Palo Alto Networks, saying an unprecedented level of attacks is fueling strong demand for cybersecurity market. So we'll have a look at CrowdStrike and the like. But revenue, 1.88 billion, beating the street at 1.84. EPS, 1.38 versus what the street was looking for, 1.16. Revenue up 20% year over year. But their costs grew, Brendo. Remaining obligations grew 26% year over year as well.
This thing's been chopping around kind of in the range. If you go out to a daily chart for the past few weeks, we did break out, but right back down to the bottom end at this point after this, guys.
Yeah, you know what, the thing about trading something on earnings or just anything in general is it's a bit, if you look at it compared to where this has been the last couple of weeks, that's a very choppy sort of inside day. And on a choppy day, if there's no levels that I'm trading off of as a style, then I'm not going to trade it. Now, it's a complete hindsight to sort of backfit where the top was to, hey, look at this. This is where the high was. And, oh, there's some significance in the past at that price. You can't really do that. I was thinking about 250. And, again, big extreme move. And then when it made that run, its last line of support on the breakout to that double top on the daily, which there's your double top on the daily. That was 250. So I felt as if it got to that price, it would be a short. And longs needed to get a little bit lower, like at least down to here at the 230 and 225, like somewhere in that area I would have looked for long. It never traded at those prices. So, if it doesn't trade where you think the action should be, then you don't have to trade it. That's a good lesson because it's very easy on a day where aftermarket earnings was essentially, I mean, look, it was PanW with Cisco, and then pre-market Macy's and Alibaba. So if you're trading earnings, it would have been easy to say, hey, I got to trade PanW, but it didn't set up, so didn't have to do it. I like the company. The fact that if it holds on this dip, if it holds on to the 200-period moving average, then I would probably be adding to it. I think Sheep made a good point. He was talking about dollar cost averaging a stock that you like. You can wait till it hits a key level to do it. You can say, I want in now. You can buy it once a month incrementally, takes 20% at a time till you have 100%. There's lots of ways you can do it. Sometimes the way that I will do it is I'll wait until after. I'll only buy it after a quarter. Let's just say. So I'll wait. I'll buy it after one good earnings print at a level I like, and then I won't engage in the next until sometime, usually a week after its previous earnings, and I can see is it holding a good level after its next earnings. Then I can add to it. So I think that's where Palo Alto is for me. If you look over here at CrowdStrike, so PanW down 6%, and actually holds a little bit. CrowdStrike was down on sympathy at 200, and the reclaim of 200 was a monster breakout for this stock. It's actually trading up at 05, but it was as high as 207. So I know PanW gets a lot of the press for being best in breed and all that good stuff, but wow-a-wee-wa, CrowdStrike kind of makes out as the winner recently, just in terms of what it's been doing. And the way that it retook the 200 level today was just pretty darn impressive. I think that's going to be on the radar for some volatile style moves in the coming days. I'd wager to say that this might be it looks like a better, I've never traded it, but it looks like a better day trading stock than Palo Alto.
Yeah, probably is better for day trading. I was trying to find the tweet there, but I want to say shout out to Ozan if you're in the chat, because yesterday on the aftermarket show, join me today, we'll have JC Peretz. Should be a good day for sure. But we had it from All Star Charts. We had this move. So we were watching it, and then I was like, yo, you should probably buy these 230s. And I know that, it's very, very hard to do that in the aftermarket, so you got to watch it. The liquidity is not that bad, but the reason why we said that was because I like it, best of breed. I don't know if I would have traded right out of it, but you had that nice bottom there, plus you had a 220 spot. So I thought that yesterday was a good spot there to average in or start a position. So I want to say shout out to you, Ozan, who made that move, because obviously you've cashed in. Now you got out right away for $7. He said he bought it at 230 or whatever, got out for $7, and didn't hold it overnight. That's probably a good thing as well. But anyways, PanW, it's a big stock of mine. I own it. I like it. It's really the only cybersecurity stock I like. But I was debating getting some Cisco, the same reason we bought Oracle when they dipped down as well. I'm going to do a little bit more research on Oracle. Like when Oracle missed, it went down into that 107 area. I missed the 107 and then was very, very tempted. That's still Pan W. Was very, very, see you, Sharif. I wanted to get some back in. So there was the miss, and we missed it, but then it came back, and we were able to buy it. Actually, right there, then went up. Then it came back. We got it that first time, not the second time. So we're long into here, 104, 105. Old tech, right? Nice bounce back up. So let's see if maybe the same thing can happen there for Cisco. Oracle also got crushed on their latest quarter. So we'll wait to see. But right now, I'm trying to be in some new tech with Google. I just took some pieces again right here. Let's see if Google can hold that 136.50 area.
Oh, we are done the rundown.
Oh.
Good comment there, Deez. Oh, no, I don't think Sharif is leaving to get a Starbucks. He's probably headed
No,
to
he's
the
leaving.
gym.
He's going to the gym.
Are you getting a Starbucks? No? No, he's going to the gym. See you, Sharif. Look, he's got, I'm guessing probably like 250 squats to do, 350
Priorities, bro.
presses. You know, it is what it is, man. I mean,
Sad.
clearly Sharif needs to prioritize his going to the gym more. He's slacking in that regard. Look, this market, we've been talking about this for a while, that the market itself doesn't necessarily have to move a lot for you to have trading opportunities. So just to lay the land of what we're doing here today, or what the market is doing today, 15.8 on the bottom, 15.9 on the top, and you can see this is not a 50, this is a 60-minute chart here, and all you have is back and forth. And right now we are not precisely in the middle of the range, but we're close enough to the middle of the range. So you want to trade what's moving, you want to trade something which is giving you some extremes. Now, we mentioned the chip names. I'm in Marvell, but I want to try to explain it. I put this in the midday when Nvidia was at 493. So this is 493 on Nvidia. Nvidia rejected 493 and made a lower high. So that starts to come into the downside. Now, remember when we're talking about how weak Marvell was for reasons unknown, although it could be related to the Microsoft news yesterday. That's the best theory in my regard. But either way, Marvell was getting its butt kicked. And at that same moment, when Nvidia was making a lower high, Marvell came into this bottom at $55 and started rolling over. So a lot of times, it's like you can express a trade a million ways. Like the futures can hit a key level, SOXL could hit a key level, Tesla, Nvidia could hit a key level, and you decide, I like the short, but I like it in a different name because I think it's going to be an easier play. Or you could say, I think Tesla's rolling over, but Rivian's worse, so I want to trade Rivian, and we'll get to Rivian. Yuck. So I took the short off to 55. It's holding VWAP. There's nothing to do here except look for the next move down. So I'm holding this short. If it breaks back out above 54.5, like look at the channel. This is literally barcoding for, what is that? An hour and a half. So if it breaks up, I get out. If it breaks down, I hold. I might even look for a short underneath VWAP and Marvell. And they don't report until either the same day as NVIDIA or the day after NVIDIA. It's either the 21st or the 22nd. So we'll get their report next week, but down 5% today. And speaking of the aforementioned Rivian, it's bouncing, which is the second time it's bounced underneath the $16 level. Down 6%. Tesla down 4%. You don't really have to look for where the weakness has been. It's not really a sector, but the EVs as a group have been getting pummeled. And every single day, it feels like when you have a good level, you should try to be short it. I already did it this morning, and I'll do it again because 17 was a level. There's no question 17 was a level to trade off of. With Rivian, it was a short here, it was a short here. It was a breakout. Then yesterday, it was support just above 17. Right at the open, it breaks that flat bottom. Right at the open. It's breaking 17 even. You could just be short like 95 or something like that. As it comes back into the upside here, I want to see what happens at that 15.9 on the NASDAQ. If it starts to roll over again, then Rivian at some of these resistance points like 1640, 1650 would make sense, but not necessarily where it is right now. But wow, these have been absolutely nasty.
Yeah, we're short. I just to let everybody know, like I'm long way more shares on Google than I am on AMD, and we've just been getting out on AMD as well. So there's AMD. It just kept on holding. So these are a bunch of outs, man. We just reloaded it. We are getting close to getting, let me see, where is my stop out there? It was all the way up at 25. I don't know if we need to do that. Because of where this market's going, why don't we just get out for flat or so if it breaks? We're hella long Google, so I'm not sure. I'm just gonna put this right here, 120.16. I'm not, oops, that didn't even go. I have too many stops here on AMD. All right, so I have another trade that I just put in as well. I gotta find, oh, it was Tesla. All right, so that should come out, 120.16. Okay, that should come out. All right, there it goes. This came right back to flat. We're long at 95. We just took some out here at 96, 97 on Google. Let's see if this one can work. You already know we're talking about that. We just talked about Tesla a little bit. What about this break right here? No, not here, here. 233, did I put 233 or 232? Hold on a second. 233 and a quarter, yeah. So what about that break? I don't mind that. So if we can break above, that's 233.40. So in and around this area, I'd like to see us take 233 and hold above it before I just punch into that. So I'd want to see it go and then get into this area. So if we could do that for Tesla, then I think that's going to be a long that I've indicated interest in. So we're going to try that one if it does come out. Decent amount of shares, we'll see. It's not really going, as we just highlighted, as Neil just mentioned there, today. So we know it can get the juice, especially into the close. This is obviously a cult stock, down 4%, could get bought back up again. So I'm just gonna wait. I mean, it looks pretty juicy if we can get it going. So we're gonna wait for that. It's Tesla, it's a buy side opportunity here for me. We're almost out of AMD's been great. I mean, this reload's been fantastic. We noticed the same levels. We just kept getting out. So that's what we talk about, risk to reward or yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. If you're not noticing the stock, this is where I throw risk and reward out the window. I don't really use that R to R stuff. I heard Sharif mention it as well. He doesn't really use it. It's because when you're scalping like this, you got to have a different hat on. And sometimes you can use that, right? You heard me use it on Cisco a little bit. But it's just like when it's coming in and it's not breaking, like I only getting out of like 10% each time. So if it comes down, like if it keeps breaking this, then we're going to have 70% on. But then when it comes back up and then comes back into that same level again, that's where we get more out. So that's, to me, how I'm going to be trading this. So if AMD breaks higher now, you got to get out because you scalp your gains for winners. And then as long as your loser, which will be about 10 or so cents, will be about the same as we've been gaining on that. Well, actually, it'll be better than that. So we've already gained about 15 to 20 cents on those. So we're looking to get out if it tops out above that level. Google's not going yet. So good out there for Google, I feel like, but not going yet. So we'll wait to see. Reloaded there at the 50 period. Huge mistake, man. We should have waited for that, and then we'd be really ringing the registers up here. So patience playing a part, but we're in this name, and I'm fine with it. Let's see what happens with Google. I'm still going to get out if it breaks back down below 50, though. 50, maybe 60.
So you know what's interesting is I think a lot of times, like everyone, like risk to reward in the literal sense means, okay, like if you have a target in and a target out and a stop and all that good stuff, and like that's what R&R literally means. But in a general sense, like what the principle should be in theory is, okay, well, relative to like what are your winning trades relative to your losing trades, right? Like if you throw the same amount of capital at two trades, then when you win, you want it to be bigger than the amount that you lose. I think that's the general sense to get from it. Whether you use target outs. Because I think when you're trading, like, I don't know what to call it, like intraday swinging or holding something for a longer or bigger or wider move, a lot of times, like, you'll have target outs, like percentages or wide ranges and that kind of a thing. And when you have that, it's easier to have a quantifiable risk to reward. I'm getting out if it loses 40 cents. My first target is at 1-to-1. My second target, when you're trading this out. When you're scalping, you're not, generally speaking, going to have that kind of quantifiable strategy. I wanted to get to Meta just went green. The market's not green yet. And I'm missing a bit of data here, but hopefully, let me just go to my 3. Is my 3-minute going to be able to show you yesterday? There we go. So Meta is climbing above the late day resistance, or trying to climb above the late day resistance that it had yesterday. It held on at 330. I'll get to the daily chart in a second. That's important. But right in here, it's creeping toward this breakout. Now, I think if it's relatively strong, I want to be long it. So this is 330, once, twice.
Sold.
Well, I mean, it broke the last time. So it was resistance twice. It broke, but then pulled back yesterday, and we've reclaimed 330 today and done so, I think, pretty strongly into what wasn't always a strong market. So it's stair-stepping to the upside, so we'll take the stairs up, which means the next dip buy, when it does this the next time, I'm looking for a bounce play in Meta. Now one of these wicks has come back. That's a little frustrating. I probably am about to get trailed out of Marvell. That'll happen, I think, in any second. This is one that is bouncing off of VWAP. Not going to let it get past this channel right in here. It's essentially like a cent above 51.40. So it's not going to take much for this to break out this channel. Then I get out. To me, you hold on to it to there. It either breaks up or it breaks down. If it breaks down, then we get to hold on to it. But I like Meta for the next available dip buy when it gets there. And you got to almost be thinking about Intel in that same regard. I just got trailed out of Intel. Intel's right back retesting those highs. Would like to see it continue to stair step up. If 43 puts in a lower high, heck, maybe Intel's the first short of the day. But as mentioned, Marvell just came out, so we'll trail out of that one. Shorted it off 55. If it gets there again, I think I would go to that well one more time.
Yeah, we're just chilling out right now. I'm going to wait on Intel. We're really right now banking. We're going to put another green name on the board here right now with Google. If we get out right here, it's making that move right back to where we bought it. We also averaged in, so that was good. Right down there at the 50 period. I think I might just take out one more piece. But remember, like when Frank comes on, sometimes the market will rally. So, and obviously we're just joking about that. It has nothing to do with it. So we will wait. There we go. We have a new position alert again. We are that one with Tesla right now. So back in, not back in for the first time here on Tesla. Let's get something out at 50 if we're able to, and then we'll get something out even higher than that. So here we go, guys. It's Tesla, it's Google, and it's Frank Caberna.
All right, there he is. Yeah, back again for a recap of what has been a pretty exciting week as far as not only inflation, Frank, we should touch on what has happened both with the CPI and PPI, but also we're going to talk about cuts, which is different at least. But it seems like the conversation has finally shifted towards that direction permanently, it would seem now. It's no longer a matter of if, but when, and we'll get into that. But quickly, thoughts on, two in a row. PPI obviously not as important as CPI, but two in a row that came out in the right direction.
Yeah, it definitely looks like everything is trending in the right direction. It's hard to know how lasting these numbers will be because, of course, in our ever-evolving society, where data and information is so readily available, the only thing that I do fear, and it sounds like Powell kind of fears as well, is the idea of psychologically consumers moving past inflation before it's actually passed. I could say, like, personally, it feels like, oh, we're out of this inflationary environment. We're out of this high interest rate environment. And I can start consuming again. I don't have to save and everything else because we're already past this. Our culture and our markets are so ahead. And obviously, you guys know, for example, it seems like every stock now doesn't move on current earnings. It moves on changes to guidance. It moves on future revenue and everything else. And so, of course, the data currently is great in terms of inflation heading in the right direction, interest rates heading in the right direction to support more growth in our market. But of course, we'll have to stay tuned until we actually get 2% or sub 2% CPI and PCE numbers. And that's what Powell has been holding on to, it seems, for the last several months. We're going to talk about how markets have shifted into rate cut mode, but still we have a Fed chairman who hasn't said the C word yet.
Yeah, and all of the comments that we've had from Fed speakers all week long have, it's worth mentioning, been on the hawkish side of things still. So that narrative, at least coming from the Fed, continues to be on that side of things. I want to preface this by saying we're at a point now where the Fed funds rate is higher than where inflation is, creating that restrictiveness that Fed Chair Powell loves to refer to. So yes, there's a potential that we could be cutting going into the new year. and most likely will be, but we're still at that point where they are capping inflation and that pressure is to the downside.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still technically in limbo in terms of, being done with hike mode, not necessarily in cut mode, but the market has definitely priced in that transition into rate cut mode, as there is now. Yeah, I mean, a 99.8% chance of cuts to come in 2024. And just like the question over the last couple of years has been, how much will they hike? When will they hike? We had plenty of, back-to-back hiking meetings, and interest rates jumped from 0% to 5% plus so quickly. Now the conversation is turned on its head, and you can see markets are shifting constantly around when will they cut, how much will they cut, looking right now like about 100 basis points with the outside chance of 1.5% throughout 2024 to bring us down to 4%, maybe even lower, if these numbers do continue to drop. It's always interesting to see, this is just about a year out. I mean, we're basically at the end of 2023 here, and there's only a 0.2% chance that rates are where they currently are. And I don't have to tell you, Brendan, that we've not yet had in the last 20, 30 years an environment where interest rates have slowly shifted lower, but the market very much pricing that in. And the next question being, when will the first cut come? Market saying May. That's the first time that you're seeing futures pricing in a more than 50% chance of interest rates being lower than where they currently are. So market thinking that the next couple FOMCs are going to be boring in terms of action. Brendan, you and I both know they're always boring in terms of action. The market's almost always priced in exactly what the Fed is going to do prior to that FOMC meeting. But these are going to be some of the most interesting FOMC meetings in terms of rhetoric, because it's going to be, one, when does he start to talk about easing interest rates? And two, how aggressive will he be? And these markets will shift around on every single word. Obviously, the last couple of weeks have been more aggressive cutting than recently anticipated. But if he comes out and says, yeah, we're looking at easing rates, but, maybe to the tune of 50 basis points, 100 basis points at most in 2024, you might see a little bit of reversal, and some of the recent shine that's been put into stocks off of lower rates be taken out. And so, yeah, whatever Powell says in the next couple of meetings, not likely to be a hike or a cut, not until May at least. But what he says is going to be huge for how that yield curve firms up throughout 2024. And that's going to be huge. Stocks are moving off of every bit of it.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning, actually, the way that we went up was so unprecedented, in fact, historic, from so low to where we are today. And the narrative along that path has really maintained the same, higher for longer. We'll go more if we have to, don't tempt us, we'll do it. Will the trip back down, be similar in that, that narrative doesn't flip-flop? Because typically when we go through these cycles, you get a little bit more back and forth. It's been very one-sided. So if we zoom out and look at, where the US is compared to the rest of the globe, still, the highest as far as, the benchmark rate is concerned, but that could potentially come to a change here.
Yeah, everything in the current market pointing towards, like you say, kind of a new version of rate cuts, which is more normalizing, more kind of what I would say mean reverting down to a longer term average of 2, 3, 4% interest rates. But you can't help but look at the last 2 weeks and see all of the US strength that has come out of the market and wonder, will we get down to 4%, even lower in the next year? Forex markets definitely starting to price that in, as the U.S. has given up a lot of ground in recent trading to UK and the Euro area in particular, and both of those firmly at 4.5% to 5% interest rates, and any weakness to the tune of 4% or lower in 2024, I think could coincide with significant dollar downside, because you keep in mind that the dollar's had such a historic run to the upside, with rates moving higher here in the US and globally, but really here in the US. And you wonder if this is that first time that rates are kind of stair-stepped lower, and they only get to 4.5%, 4% next year. Maybe the dollar can keep some of this strength up. But to your point, historically, they've moved lower in such a violent fashion. And especially the last couple of days here, it seems like they're pricing in lower and lower interest rates every day. You've got today, again, the 2-year and the 10-year down a handful of basis points. You wonder how much not only will U.S. rates give back, but how much will that dollar give back, still at historic highs against a number of other currencies, not just the yen, but I mean, a couple of days ago, we were trading near 105 with the euro. That's a Forex market that has usually been trading in the 120 to 130 handle, Brendan. So a lot of nuance to interest rates moving lower over the course of the next year, not just for stocks, but for Forex markets as well.
Yeah, you sent an interesting graphic on that short note, in the sense that, you know, people who are still actively trading the US dollar, 80+% to the short side right now after this most recent move. I want to talk a little bit about Japan more here in a second, but just for everyone watching, there was a note on Qualcomm from Bloomberg suggesting that Apple will likely miss a 2025 goal to roll out its own cellular modem inside devices. So there's a move there in Qualcomm. Just wanted to make sure we keep everyone up to date. But yeah, let's talk about the yen here and this short aspect to the USD. 80+% of those over at IG holding a short position here.
Yeah, showing you that the sentiment is shifting on this US dollar, and maybe for good reason. Like we just showed with the global rate environment, the US has seen so much upside in the Forex market because it has seen so much lift in its rates relative to these other global economies. And you look at some of these Forex markets, some of the most mean reverting markets in the world, right next to your, implied volatility markets and your interest rate markets themselves, constantly oscillating over the course of the last 20 years between 0 and 5-6%, and trading in between many times, mean reverting off of those extremes. And you wonder if this mean reversion will kick in this dollar yen market that is still near highs. And yeah, I know myself anecdotally, and I'm sure you've known a lot of people traveling to Japan the last 2 years because of this better conversion rate for US dollar and Canadian dollar versus that yen. These things don't last into perpetuity, at least historically they have not. And so really wondering if we're going to finally get some of that mean reversion that we thought we were going to get at the start of 2023. I think a lot of people thought the top in interest rates was 3 or 4%, and this dollar was going to come crashing lower. At the end of 2023, dollar still holding on to its highs against a number of markets, but now the market's pricing in significant cuts, and sentiment among traders is pretty significantly short that dollar.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually just had a really good friend just come back from Tokyo, and she was saying the same thing, that was why they went. But it was funny because she said that certain items, depended on what they were shopping for, but certain items, the prices were adjusted. So it wasn't, yes, there was a big difference, but the prices were adjusted to be more in their favor. But yeah, it's crazy times. Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thank you very much, Frank. And what's interesting is we talk about the Frank effect. when he comes to dropping some knowledge and some science and all that good stuff, but occasionally rallying the market. Now, at first, it was pulling back in, but there was like that late bounce toward the end of the conversation there. And again, just want to thank you, Frank. The other thing I've noticed is Frank has a stylish cap collection. If you've been paying attention, you've now noticed this likely over the last little bit. So if I ever get a chance to talk to you again, Frank, and get to interview you, I'm going to ask you about some of those caps. And he probably has one of those walls where you display, like, you put the nails on and you get the caps.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Right? I'm guessing Frank has like an entire wall of like luxury caps. I looked up that brand, by the way. They make a $100 Yankee cap, so they have a deal with MLB, which has to be pretty cool. Or just a deal with the Yankees, I'm assuming, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, a couple of things I did get out of Roblox. It trailed out. If you want to, you can ask him, Fabian, if he's still here. Roblox, I trailed out of Roblox while that was going on. So out of Roblox, if it gets back into VWAP, this might be a good ad at VWAP if we see 38s again, just the way that it consolidated. But if it has to get down there first. I'm into Meta on the dip buy. Come on, wick, be gone. Okay, good. If that wick comes back, the chart's going to do that thing it does. But this broke underneath 333, couldn't really get to 32 half, and then regained 33, so I got in on the way back up. It takes them out in front of the high of the day, see if it can continue its stair-step two-set upside on Meta. That's kind of the one we left you with there. But I did want to also go over to, goodness, what was Intel? Intel didn't really dip down into 43. There it is. So Intel, it pulled back a little bit. It's still looking like it wants to make a run at this 43 even. So it put in a higher high. It's still giving you the stair step to the upside. If it holds 43, then it's holding that previous low with a higher high. So I'd be looking to join that with probably a 43 even stop or just underneath that level. And then one more, I saw someone saying plug squeeze. Plug isn't really squeezing. However, just to give an update, I did take a third trade short in plug during lunchtime. It was this one right here. It wicked VWAP again, so I entered short at 03 and then stopped out at 06. I have not been in it since. All that said, if it got back up to 420, I'd probably give it a shot. Not really that much of a squeeze for plug. 10 cents. It's going up. 10 cents isn't nothing on a $4 stock, but a squeeze would be this thing getting to 5 or 450. Something a little bit more significant for plug power.
I just want to quickly go over Tesla because it's done. It's not going up, guys. We took that shot there. We averaged it in. We just got some out in the 50s and 60s. And I just took another piece out right now at 30. Because if this breaks below 232, we're going to be gone on this one, man. I mean, the market, any little move up, you see, there it is. So at least now we know. So we'll stop a fail on that one. We'll go red. Well, that was our first trade on Tesla. So we're red on that, obviously, if that was our first trade. And again, pretty reasonable trading there, in my opinion. Like, it kept on going down. We changed up our mind, flushed in there, right to the 50 period. We got longer at 232.26. These outs, like, you can see where these outs are if you want. This is 60s, 57 and 67. We have two outs right there. Then we got another one right there at 37 or 30s. I think it was 30s exactly. And then there's the drop breaking through 232. So yeah, unfortunately there it goes. Well, not unfortunately, it sucks if you're long. But if you play the momentum in Tesla, you probably would have stayed short. So that's good. Now we know. I mean, we knew before. We shouldn't, again, like when you start to get those feels about like you're screwing something up, probably shouldn't be long underneath the 200. So that's something that we will talk about over and over again as we continue to trade. So just learning different strategies, different things. Walmart's making you upset, Nunya Biz. Okay, let me see. Let me see what's going on right now on Walmart. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been doing, again, we're going to have all those crazy wicks, but let's just see what's happening right there. Yeah, it's still at the bottom. You're probably long somewhere in here. I don't really know what to tell you, Nunya. You could see right here, forget about this 200 period moving average, came into play, once the market started to open up here on 11 o'clock, started to be more accurate. You did get a bump up there to 157, the 200, then the 200 came again here at 157.25, and now you're all the way down here at 156.60. So yeah, just going back to what I said about Tesla there, you're underneath. I don't think we go long, except for the fact if I zoom in, you're at the 50 period moving average. So there's the rejection. There's the rejection again. There's the huge move down. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't know Where are you, Nunya Biz? Right here. Let me see. What is your position? Been waiting for a rebound all day. Okay, so that is what it is. So yeah, you're long.
That's not a bad.
I mean, I don't know where you're long, but at the same time, like it's not horrible. You know, if you got long on a 200 period break, probably right there or right there, then yeah, obviously you're stuck now, and that's just basically a trap. So they got you right there, back in. So now we're gonna have to wait to see what happens back down on the downside for Walmart. I don't. It's none my biz. But for none ya biz, I don't like this Walmart trade, and I'm going to have to give a hard pass. But I do have to say something to Trader Luke because he was with me on this short there for TGT. I don't have it on board, but we did talk about playing second day weakness because it was up so much yesterday. It's not even that weak today. I mean, it's only down 1%, but it is weaker than the market. Yeah, that's what it is. So I like Target, still like it at that level. Don't know if that's going to hit or not. I think we're done now today. I mean, I'm going to resume short bias. Honestly, I know we're long right now. So Google, we got out of Google there some when it broke. I changed the break level. Remember we were talking about it breaking through 50? Well, it broke, and then we got back long, so it's going to be hard to see. I put a small out breaking through 75. So once we did that, we got out. Then it stopped, and I was like, well, you're still bouncing off the 200. So we got long again and made some money back up there with our best out being 85. But now you're coming back in. We'll take this one more time just to get, and I said we're just going to try to favor short, so I understand we're probably doing something wrong. You're breaking through the 200 right now, but I want to give it a little bit more room. So I'm giving it to 50s. So we are getting close right now on this trade, possibly going the other way here.
Yeah, I'm about 10 cents away a couple of times from getting stopped out and meta at that high. But there was a question in the chat. Brennan did mention this down to Sky, the news on Oatly. It was that their, what do they call these things? That their original and chocolate oat milks are available in over 250 Insomnia Cookies locations across the country. So that's the piece of news. It's up 44% on that. I'm not here to tell you fundamentally like how big a deal that is. I don't know Insomnia Cookies or anything about that brand. Sounds good. Oatly is a penny stock. Penny stocks are penny stocks because they're under $1. So a couple of things. One, 80 cents level here. That's the current high, 78 cents. So 90 as well, and then $1. If this gets, I just paid for locates on this. If this gets to those levels, probably an 80 break because it's been holding here, gets to 90 or $1, I think I would look for a late day fade trade, just a scalp trade off the 90 or the $1 level if it does press higher. It's already, okay, well, it might be pulling back now. It was pressing the high of the day when I was going to start that thought, but it might be pulling back now. If that's the case, then there's no push into the 80 level, no push into the 90 level. But that's what I would be looking for over there on Oatly. Oh, one other one I wanted to get to was Affirm. Affirm was a mixed bag this morning for me in that I had this breaking down through fresh lows, down 6%. Affirm's not having a good day. A lot of stocks have actually moved despite the market not moving that much. Down 6%, rejected that 27 level, but it broke down a fresh low at 1 o'clock. I was in the breakdown. It got down to 24.25. I went for the reload here off 25.5. It took out a local high, but the same local high is being respected. And when I look back at this, not a good out. Like, okay, fine. Like, it's at the end of the day, I reloaded at 49 and got out at 56. But the problem with that is, okay, well, this is the top here at 60. Like, that's where you got to give it to. So it's a matter of being a little bit more patient. That means the fills are 50 to 60, that short, and then giving it to just above the 60 level if you're respecting the channel that Affirm has put in. But I am back on the, hey, Affirm has rejected a high until it gets to support, look for the short. And first support's at 23, which means I'm at least bearish on this thing until $23 or until it shows me a sign of strength, which would be higher highs and higher lows. It really hasn't done much of that today. So I'd be looking back into the short. But that was a bit of a mistake. It doesn't matter whether it's a tight stop or a small hit. If it's like, if you're not reading the level correctly, you stop out and then have a look back. Did you follow the plan? Was it a good plan in the first place? Sometimes you might just misplace your stop order. And instead of putting it at the right level, you put it at the wrong level. In that situation, you want to get back in. I did not. I should have. So if we pop 15 cents, I want to be in an Affirm short. Relative weakness is the market can't seem to hold 15.9.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny market here. Not doing much right now, just bouncing around the 50 period, bouncing around VWAP. I mean, it's just kind of hanging out right now, and these are not the greatest times to be sitting in here and making positions. So I'm gonna just wait to see if Google makes any more lows, get another bid here at 60, and then obviously just punch out if it breaks through 50. I still like the long. We're still above VWAP, but I can't control the market. I just have to get into names that I told you what kind of a trader I am, relatively strong versus relative strength versus relative weakness. So if we could just keep that going, that'd be great. But we'll have to wait to see where it goes from here. Hopefully it can bounce back upside. Uncontrollable. QCOM, good report there by Brendo with Frank. Comes back in there on Apple news. Apple not going to be able to complete, I guess, total production of their chips. Maybe Brendan can confirm that story, but that is what it was. Something about Qualcomm and the chips and everything. So that makes upside, right? If Apple can't fulfill the order themselves, then they'll have to go back. So they went to Qualcomm. We'll see what that means. Nice upside move. I'm pretty sure that is what that was. So we'll wait to see what happens right there on QCOM. I like the stock, and like I said, old tech, Qualcomm, Cisco, Oracle, Intel, you're seeing making moves up. So a good job there. All right, shout out to YouTube on here. Where is it right here? Hey, what's up, Ozan? I already talked about your tweet there. Did you get out of PanW in the aftermarket? I think you did, not today. All right, it was something about Palantir. I don't know where it was. Here it is right here. YouTube, is Palantir's above VWAP and making higher lows? Today possible? All right, so let's whoopsies, just maximize that. Let me have a quick look for you here. YouTube, Yatube, Y-A-H something. Okay, so there's Palantir.
I think it is Yatube.
Okay, first of all, let's go Google. Hopefully it's starting to go back up to the upside right now. We like that. Damn you, Tesla's also going. As the market's just doing a dance right now, so we did take a piece out of YouTube there, AKA Google. All right, so Palantir, still down on the day, so this would be a short for me if it's gonna be anything, to be honest with you. And you're into a short level. Let's go YouTube, let's go Google. Nice move back up there. We're now back up, so good. Yeah, right into here. I like this. I like this short. I think you could almost hit the short right now on Palantir. I don't know if you're asking for a long or not. You were talking about it making, obviously I can see here, higher lows throughout and double touching just VWAP and the 200 period. So the more I look at this, yeah, man, I mean, this is not a horrible situation here for anybody on Palantir. I think it's near that $20 mark. That's been pretty good. Just goes back into where we were this morning right here on 1985, 1990, not 1989. But right there, 1985 coming through again right now. I feel like this is going to be a good short. So that's what I would prefer, the short. So I'm going to wait to see about that, but I would put some offers up here. If you're long, I mean, this is the thing. Comes back in, tests. What's up, Fabian? Comes back in and tests, then makes the move back up, but doesn't really take out new highs. You can kind of flip this either way. So either this is a long or a short. But for me, that's a failed top right there. I'd like to look short. So if it comes back up to 1985, we will do that or so for Palantir. But
silly question.
It is. I know what you're going to ask, yeah.
Oh, no, it's fine. When you said 1989, you looked at the wrist, and I was like, huh, did I miss something?
Just Google Taylor Swift. And
okay, fair enough. Which is, you know what? I'll be the first person to admit I have no trouble. If I don't know something, I'm just gonna ask. I don't care to look silly. It's just that I just want to know.
No, you don't look silly. I knew you didn't know.
That's the funny thing is you probably could have just been like, you probably could have said it before I even asked the question. Yeah, Neil, you didn't get the Taylor Swift reference.
That's why I didn't interrupt. I wanted to hear. I knew you were gonna say something, so I was waiting to see. But
you didn't see you guys didn't see the look on my face. Like he did that, and I was like, huh? And I was like, what is going here? Oh, you did show it. That went live to everybody? How do you manage to always catch like those little, it's a very good job catching those moments. I mean, you do have, there's cameras everywhere. So in my ear, Fabian's saying, we see everything. Well, there's a camera here, and there's a camera there, and a camera there, and a camera there, and they're literally all over the place. We have so many cameras, it's ridiculous. We used to have a bald camera. Actually, I want to thank you guys for not showing that shot. But let's get back to the markets for a quick second. This is me avoiding you guys putting that on. But Meta just made a bit of a bounce into the previous high, 33.40s as far as it just got. So I got some out there. I'm going to rinse and repeat it, but money fills under 333 this time. That's where the money fills are going to be. When I say money fills, I mean if you're trading off a level, slightly below the level for long are money fills because it's trading up and down off that level. So it's not really breaking 80s, but it's breaking the even. So you want fills at like 90 or something. Money fills short would be above the resistance spot if it's kind of breaking resistance and not going any further than that. So I'm into that. I also mentioned Marvell at 55. The good Marvell, not the movie, which I've heard is not very good. But Marvell, the stock. Just got back up to the 55 level. That is here. So I'm back into that short. Going to get some out here in the 70s and look for this to get back into VWAP. If I see VWAP, we're getting out of this. It's a stair step to the upside. So I want to make sure we're getting some out here. It's actually down 4%, but since making a low at around 11 o'clock, it's putting in, that's a good higher low off VWAP. So I would love to be able to respect that level. Just move up a little bit here because it's bouncing a little bit faster than I would have expected. So I'm going to get some out. I was bidding 71s. I just moved to 73 when someone showed up at 72. Someone shaves, then you shave. The terminology of when there's a bid level, let's say there's a 70 even level with size, and you put a bid at 71 to get out, and then someone puts a bid at 72. We used to call that shaving, like someone's shaving your price. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but if you hear us say that, that's usually what we mean. It's like, I'm just moving my order 1 cent in front of whoever that other person was. And you just want to make sure you get that out on the way to the downside. So let's go Marvell. One thing, okay, Intel's getting close to that 43 level. I was about to say, like, in looking for dip buys, one thing to keep in mind would be, if you zoom in here, once, twice, thrice on lower highs, we're rejecting that top. So, can the futures make a higher low? They already did once. You'd want some confirmation. You really want to be going long a strong name on this dip. Intel, that 43 is looking like it makes sense. Meta's been pretty strong. I would hesitate to take a long on something that wasn't already a strong name, just based on those also lower highs in the futures. With 45 minutes to go, you don't want to throw good money at bad. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good money at bad. Like, you don't want to be fighting something which is a weak stock trying to go long, unless it's at a gigantic level. Like, if something is at, I don't know anything that's at a level like that, but if something is at a huge level, like imagine if NEO was at $7, then I would probably go long on NIO. Checks NEO. NEO is not at $7, so confirm that it.
Well, close, wasn't it? Weren't you on that today? Was it 7:15 or something?
Hang on a second. I was long NEO at 750.
Right.
So this happened on NEO, which, like, NEO was cruising, and then it just stopped right here. We talk about barcoding, which is an amazing term to describe something pretty obvious in a chart, but look at this. It's going to the upside. It then makes this test of 27. I got a couple of legs out there. I'm still holding at this point half the position. And then it's like consolidation, consolidation. When that happens, I'm generally thinking if it breaks out, I want above VWAP because it's going to break a lot higher. If it breaks down, I want out. But then I use that key where you only get out half. So I trailed out of the other half, like a quarter of it here. And then when it continued further, I basically just punched out. I'm like, for the love of, and then punched out. And then it just barcoded off that same level and then goes back into the upside. So I don't mind getting out here. In the moment, it felt like the right decision. So you go with your gut in that. You go with your gut, reading the tape, and get out. But could have just jumped right back in when it held 720, and then you're risking 2 cents to now get 10. So NEO continues to bounce shy of the $7 level. I know I keep saying I like the $7 level. That is a 52-week low here. But every bounce has been in the quarters. So until further notice, NEO at about 715, the price, not the time of day ever, that's going to be a long I will look for until it gets to $7, which all indications are it's going to get there. At this point, we didn't come all this way not to trade the $7 level NIO, especially the way the EVs are going.
Yeah, NIO. I think we like that name, and that's the thing is you got to wait for the key levels, right? So I think that $7. You even mentioned that before you had your day off there. That was a key level. So you got to keep looking at those things over and over and over again. Talk about key levels, like. We finally get a move up here a little bit in Google anyways. Like, we bought it there, we sold it here. Honestly, I know that there's some traders that I always get, it's funny because I always kind of laugh when traders will send me and say, there was someone today, I don't know if it was Ozan or who it was, maybe it was you, Ryan, or somebody said, oh, I just crushed Intel 36 fills or something like that. And I was like, wow, okay. We are having an impact on people. So we have 25 fills on Intel today. That one was the last, and we'll wait for it. And I mean, just like Google, we just literally started trading this about about an hour ago, actually, right on, and we already have 31 fills on that one as well. So I kind of just chuckle, say that, like, you know, sometimes scalping can be pretty good. We'll wait. That was good back in. Thank God we were able to buy off that. Now we're just buying off the 200. Wait for it to fall back. If this ever breaks 50, we're gone. Just a psychological level of 50. I don't really have a strong bias about this trade. I'm not really even impressed with Google. I'm actually opposite of impressed right now.
Unimpressed.
Unimpressed. Yeah, that would be the opposite of that. Yeah. Not pleased. Okay, Wells Fargo making the move to the upside here. I was just looking, just came across. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Is it 30% off still?
Holla at your boy.
Wow. I'm going to hit up Trade Ideas immediately after this. I'm already talking to Michael Noss. Michael Noss is a great friend of JC's, he's telling me. So JC's going to come on very, very soon. Damn, these CFTs.
Oh, I'm going to get a chance to see him.
All know each other really, really well. So yeah, it's amazing. But okay, there's WFC, nice move up. And the reason why I was talking about it is just coming back into 4250. Again, I thought I got a note that it was a VWAP break, but I guess it's not. So maybe just back here, add some support. So what I was going to say is make sure you do get that Trade Ideas. I have different scanners up, stocks at support, stocks at resistance. Like here's it crossing VWAP. So the last time at 311, we got a Qualcomm alert. We got an AMAT alert right there as well, a Boeing. So as you can see, it's Trade Ideas. Hit it up with that Trader TV 30, and you'll get the best deal on the street. And we made that agreement with Michael Noss and Trade Ideas that we will not support Trade Ideas for the community unless we did have the biggest and the best rebate, or not rebate, well, I guess it's a rebate, but
no, it's
on
a discount.
Discount, yeah. On the street. So yeah, I guess we shouldn't say rebate. I mean, it's stuck in trading mode here. But yeah, so hit those guys up at Trader TV 30. Shall not be beat. And you have, you know, an instant support from Mr.
Which is key.
So that's pretty key. So
I'm going to be in Halifax visiting my brother in a month. Well, it's not really a month. It's like a few weeks. Close enough. And Michael is he's such a nice guy that he doesn't even know he's buying me dinner and a drink, which is amazing. He's such a good dude. And the best thing about it, I know Sean said that you can get support, but there's a feature in Trade Ideas where you can share your layout or a part of your layout just by simply sending like a URL. It's really simple, and then you can upload it. So anyone that gets that, you can have Sean's layout, you could have my layout, you could have Michael's layout, you could have Brendan's, you could have
mine costs extra.
Well, I mean, if you're going to charge, if you want mine, you got to give me an apple fritter. I don't know how you're going to pull it off when you're not here, but I want an apple fritter if you want my layout.
All right.
But
you can send a Tim Hortons gift card.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
We're
entirely joking. We do not ask you guys for anything except to enjoy the show, have a lot of fun, try to learn something, come back every single day, and do a little bit of this, which I'm going to he's not here, I'm going to do it this way, to thank this person for the brownie.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
Right, Katrine gave me a brownie, which is delicious. I absolutely loved it. But I saw that same comment, Jam Lossy. What does cooking the books mean? So, like, what context are we talking about here? So I think, generally speaking, the account. I'm assuming you mean that, not like I've never heard of cooking the books in trading, but cooking the books in accounting would simply mean manipulating aspects of your reports to make it look like you either made more profit than you did or less profit than you did. There's all kinds of reasons, I suppose, that you would do that. I mean, we're not going to get into. You guys can understand. Like, you don't want to do that so that you can, whether it's like reduce taxes or not. It's not legal. You're not supposed to do it. There's accounting rules and all that good stuff. And if you want to be an accountant, then you're going to have to understand those rules. But again, like it's. When people accuse companies around earnings of cooking their books, a lot of times they're just saying it tongue-in-cheek, like they were using adjusted earnings, which, again, I don't necessarily believe in adjusted earnings because it's like, what the heck? Can you just actually follow the rules and tell us how much money you made? But that's something that they're allowed to report. So they'll give you those adjusted numbers. Sometimes you might refer to people saying, looking at adjusted earnings as cooking the books. I think cooking the books is usually something illegal, but that's just my 2 cents. I just got into Affirm, and this could be the shortest offensive of all time. And I guess it's a short, so it would be a defensive. It might break this level, but I am back into it. Let's see if it can hold on. This meta trade, it keeps on going 20 cents in the money or so, and then doesn't seem to want to follow too much further than that. But Meta is at least holding for that long. You're making a higher low in the futures. Should have probably taken that intel, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, and I have no idea how the rest of that saying goes. I'm sure somebody can fill it in for me. But should just be buying these consolidation dips on Intel, even if you're just going to scalp it for 10, 15 cents. It's holding up so nicely despite being up 6% on the day. Intel up 6%, Marvell down 6%. You got to get past the notion that these names are going to follow the entire group. You can have semis up and semis down. You can have, the EVs are all down, but you can have parts of these groups do very different from the others. And if you're not adjusting to that, it's been a different market, especially during earnings season. So you want to make sure you're trading the right names. That's why relative strength and relative weakness is so important. Because if you just think, okay, the chips are generally down today, let's go shorting Intel, there's days that probably would have worked. I've done that myself. Today would not be one of them.
I'm just honestly like look at the futures. I don't know, whether or not this is attractive to anybody or not. We're doing the same thing over and over again, so it's a little boring for me to explain to you kind of like what I'm doing here on Google. We can just look for some new names. So let's go. Let's start giving me some names here in the chat. So very, very good point that there's no power hour anymore. And there can be. It's just
some days. There's been a
some
couple
days
of
there
days.
are. Some days, anything can happen anytime and any day. That's the one thing about the market. Don't ever think that you are above the law, per se, unless you're Arnold or something. But okay, PayPal. There we go.
I am the law.
Sniper Wars says, let's have a look at PayPal. So let's go over to PayPal right now and have a quick look and see if we can find something. I don't want to rush into anything. Sometimes we make sort of rash decisions about getting into names once we start to look at them. Come on, Sniper. Come on. You didn't snipe this one, did you? This isn't doing that much right now. Again,
Sniper, no
sniping.
sniping.
Sniper, no sniping. I went and saw live Dora the Explorer one time in. That was a trip.
There's a lot. Oh, like a
yeah.
Ice Capades?
You know the funniest thing about it was?
Was it Ice Capades?
Man, no, it wasn't Ice Capades. It was a Dora the Explorer live show.
My daughter loves Dora.
Yeah, so does my kids love Dora as well. But the funny thing was, Dora was Chinese. I'm not even lying to you. This was in Toronto. It was not a Spanish, obviously a Spanish show, but I just thought they would have casted maybe a little bit better. But that was a great show.
They still use
Spanish. Yeah, but they just use the Dora word. Dora's not. She's Spanish. She's, I think, Costa Rican or something.
But the show incorporates.
Right, she still did Spanish words.
Okay, good.
But there was no
would've been weird.
It was just hilarious. Even my kids are like, huh? But that was pretty funny. I'm talking honestly, probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was in Bathurst, one of the little theaters, Bloor and Bathurst there, whatever that theater is just south. It was it's probably gone now, actually. I think it is gone now because right now Bloor and Bathurst used to be.
Just waiting for Matt Damon to play Jackie Robinson movie or something. That's where this is all headed.
Oh, it's still there? But Honest Edge is what I was thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
That's gone. So Honest Edge is gone.
There's
huge
from here,
condos there now. I think they're starting to live. Anyways, all Toronto's turning into condos absolutely everywhere, and real estate continues to be pretty hot.
You know what's not hot? Is a bad segue.
Probably is, yeah.
Lithium Americas. I'm only bringing this up because for reasons unknown, in my earpiece, someone was just, while you were talking, was like, Lithium Americas. Like, okay, Fabian, we'll look at LAC. I don't know what the deal is. Do you own some of this? Are you shorting it? I'm asking Fabian out loud, but this is, again, getting squashed after making a pretty decent bottom. It hasn't been doing well. Now it's rolling over past 8. This is the most outsized day. I guess that sounds right. Look at what happened here today on LAC. The trend is your friend. And what's better about this, look at it reject. There's a reason we talk about this. If you like a stock trending in a certain direction, just kind of look for that VWAP pullback. That's why that study is pretty cool on Trade Ideas. It's like a VWAP retracement. So a stock goes crazy, and then it's bouncing off VWAP one way or the other. Bouncing short would be this. That's a great setup. I don't think you trade it now because it's got a 3-cent range in the last little bit. But, not a bad look. not a bad look if you're shorting the stock. I mean, if you've been going long today, that's clearly not that good.
No.
It's not to joke about it, but it's not been a good way for them. So I'm into Affirm. I'm going to get some bids out inside of this range because it is 329, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah, it's 1 minute from the early look on the imbalances. Not going to lie, I have I actually have like this that I just sort of keep there. I can look at a time in sales, which also has the time. It's not like there's any excuse for a trader to not know what the time is. What's hilarious is anytime a trader's like, my clock was off at the close. I'm like, yeah, but you probably have the futures. Come to my chart for a second.
Sharif was here at the close?
No, it's just like you probably have like a time in sales, which is literally telling you what the time is on every single one of your stock windows at any given time. So there's never an excuse for a trader not to know what time it is. But it feels like it's creeping up on us. We have to be flat. If you're just joining in for the first time, first, welcome. Second, enjoy the show. Third, we are day trading and have to be out of positions by 4 o'clock. So you will tend to see tightening up stops, taking smaller wins because you have a bit of a time going against you. Like when you're in a swing trade, you can trade off your levels and hold it as long as you please. But day trading is a little bit different for us. Sam Emanuel, you can put Nvidia Microsoft just once. I mean, you did have, what is Nvidia doing here?
Many times.
Not much, but it's still at that 493. As long as this holds 493, I like the Marvell short, but I don't know if I want to reload it this late in the day. So I'm going to back away from reloading this and just hang on to my what I have in Marvell. I elected to short Marvell off 55 when Nvidia got to 493. So that was, I just liked the level, I liked the relative weakness of it, and I figured Marvell tends to follow extreme moves of Nvidia. They also both report in about a week. So I'm going to hang on to this, but I will not reload it. I want VWAP for MRVL. And you might have just jinxed it, James Choi. You just said SPY green. I don't know. It just wicked the top there.
Immediately time to put up a poll. So whoever wants to do that, and then we'll make an opinion here. We'll do NAS. You want to do SPY? Let's do SPY. So we'll do, will the SPY or the ES, whatever you guys want, turn green today? Where will it close? Will it close green or not? Let's put that up immediately if we can. It doesn't have to be immediately. I'm just playing around with that. Whenever there is an opportunity, let's get that up, and then we can all vote.
In 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds. Oh, yeah, Neil can do it. Okay, I keep forgetting you have the power to do that. All right,
it's just the Bears versus Bulls can't, which kind of sucks. So.
Yeah. I just didn't know if Ramin was getting on that. So, okay. Join me, though, first of all, tonight, as a little bit nervous. I mean, we have JC Peretz on. I've never, had this guy on before, but we always crush it. So we'll be there talking. He's a very, very long-term guy, a fan of fine dining, a fan of the NFL, and just a great market technician, to be perfectly honest with you. It's going to be a great time, and I'm just excited. More excited, I shouldn't say nervous, anxious. Anxious is a good word. I feel like this is going to be our best show. So get ready to rock and roll, man. Followed by everybody. Downtown Josh Brown. This guy has been everywhere, all on big time podcasts. Very, very impressive, and I'm happy to be having him on the market recap show later on tonight. So do not go anywhere at all. Stay here, and traders stay late, as all of you know. So that's why we're doing the show. We want to give you guys more content. All right. So in case you guessed what's been happening with my trades, well, Google just bumped up again into the 70s. So again, we're covering. We don't want. We want to make as much money as possible, but regardless of how much we eventually make, we can only get what the market's giving us. So I don't have any more offers right now. As I say that, I have one at 88. So if that can get back upside like as high as it's been yet, then we'll take some out. But for right now, I'm going to make that play, 88s, and then let the rest damn ride. So like the Denver Broncos, unfortunately, Neil.
Seriously?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Oh my God, they actually beat the Buffalo Bills. But if we can beat the market here with Google, then we will wait for an upside. All right, Neil, it's redemption.
That's very unnecessary.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, no one's going to think the Broncos are better than the Bills, are they?
Well, they are right now.
I know.
Because basically everybody's better than the Bills right now.
I would agree. I mean, they got rid of that OC, so hopefully Ken Dorsey would be the problem, although Josh Allen, of course, says he wasn't, which is nice to do. All right, Neil.
That wasn't a fail for the poll. That was a fail for the poll.
I think we go green.
It's right now 58.42.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I just made it based on what I think. So
Yeah, what's crazy is I have 2 shorts and 1 long, and voted and basically just voted the book. So I voted red, but it's a long that's looking like it's working. So
let's see.
And what's interesting, I just finished talking about how like you trade some things that are relatively strong, relatively weak. Marvell hasn't cared what the market's been up or down today, but it is trying to press higher. The market, I mean, is trying to press higher. Meta's at that high of the day. Let's see if it can press through. If it fails that top, I'll probably just punch out at the 50 level, take the profit. But Affirm, as the market's bouncing up a little bit, it got 1 fill in there. Might take another one because as we're going higher, let's just take what the market wants to give us, as we were just talking about, is that wants to go a little bit lower. So we'll take some out of Affirm. This has been the channel pretty much the entire afternoon. That's a bad stop out because it's a bad in. Not even the best in this time, but at least it holds that high. So let's see if the market can hold up. I'm still on the bit of Intel, but at some point, it's like, does it even get down there to 43.06? I don't know. It's really not. For all the activity in Intel all day today, it's very much trading like the old Intel. 5-10 cent range in there, which is not a heck of a lot to work with this low, especially this late in the day. So I just canceled my order on Intel. I'm not taking that long anymore. Just didn't get the fill at 43. You're seeing it do not a heck of a lot. Meta's running. Affirm, I will not necessarily reload it. I don't think I will. It might be too late in the day. And I've already said I will not reload Marvell. It's gone a little bit to the downside for me there, about 20 pennies with a 10-cent stop. If it continues, it continues. But at this point, I'll just let it see what it does.
I was going to go over. I think we have the earnings board. We
do.
Yeah, so there it is. Okay, perfect. All right, what is tonight there? I was just putting on AMAT. Oh, Gap. Okay, so I'm just making the board here. So AMAT and Gap, GPS, we've had some nice, join me tonight. We're gonna go over all these plays as they come through. You could see here on the board, Ross stores, a couple different things happening right there, BJ's, wholesale, so on and so forth. So Spectrum Brands, Dolby, ZTO, I think that's a shipping company there in China. So or a logistics company. All right, so I think the big ones today would be GPS.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see Macy's with a huge move. That's kind of segued into here. Macy's today, obviously with a big move. We'll have to wait to see where it goes, up 5%. It has pulled back, right? It was up to 14 and change. We did talk about this earlier. I was kind of waiting to see if we could fill this gap up to 15. We basically did, but you had to get it in the pre or post. So it didn't get up there enough. So we'll have to wait for that right now.
You said fill the gap. Were you talking about?
I was talking about Macy's, but yeah, that's good. I like that. We'll see. We'll talk about Gap.
Yeah, it's
but Macy's right there did not, and then faded the rest of the day. I still do not like the retail sector, which is why I was shorting Amazon before. But let me just look at what Gap is doing here right now. I know that they sort of revamped a little bit there. They got rid of the Kanye stuff, and I know they got rid of one of their CEO, or I think they had female CEO stepped in, I think, late last year, and then she maybe got replaced. I'll have to look into more of that, but look at this turnaround for GPS. I mean, this bottom again of $8. Like, there's only so much that's going to come in. And, I mean, that came in pretty damn nicely down here to 7,750. Straight back up. Watch out for a 15 top. So I actually think this one has a very, very good chance to do something special because of what the retail sector has been showing. GPS. There it is. Short float, 18, so that's probably enough is what you need to know right there. Short float, not great, and not great if you're long. We'll see if this can pop up, though. If the shorts win tomorrow, we'll see if we get a nice move. But if they report a good number, then the shorts are going to have to cover. And if they've been shorting, putting on positions up to here, where do we think their outs are? Right? And so you got to look into this area, 1530, 1540. If we can get up to there, I think we blast and then hit 17 or 18, which would be a monster move. Obviously, if we hit 17 or $18 tomorrow from Gap, you're looking at about 20% to the upside. Wouldn't be the first retailer to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen tomorrow with Gap. So we'll see. They got to come up. They got to, put up or shut up. So it's time.
True.
That's what earnings are all about, right? You base companies on this. So we're going to wait to see. We've got the price. Now you need that one next part of PE.
Exactly.
We will get earnings later.
Shout out to Deez in the chat with the chive reference there. I actually have a chive sweatshirt that I keep at the office when it gets too cold and if I don't have a sweater on me. So chive on, brother. Tisha in the chat there. So SGD and ATGL were great movers today, and you all I just said y'all when you didn't even type y'all. You all didn't speak on them at all.
Oh.
So SGD actually was not in our platform today, so we couldn't call it up if we wanted to. ATGL, just come to my screen for a second. This would be the spread of ATGL. It's a $27 stock. Now, for the most part, you can see like a 70-cent spread at level 1. Level 2 is going to show you some liquidity, but like when you see this different from the level 1, level 1 and level 2 be different. Level 1 is going to take like full lots. So if you see 20 here, that means that's less than 100 shares. That's not even a full board lot at that current price. Like now you'll see the level 1 and level 2 the same price. So it's a 70-cent spread on a $20 stock. It's just a little different. A lot of times there are ways to trade that. I think you can find sometimes like levels to get in and out. But for the most part, 80 to 90% of the time, they tend to be no-fly zones in terms of getting positions. Just simply because it's really difficult to risk manage them in a normal sense if you're like scalp trading intraday. For swings or for the different styles, it can work out. Sometimes trading them around halt levels works. I've done that before. But it's not intentional on SGD's part. We just didn't have it in the system for us today. And speaking of things in the system, there's that bounce. So good thing we got a little more out here on Affirm. With 10 minutes to go, the market is, I want to say, it's not really blasting, but the NASDAQ just went flat or green, I guess, and the ES is very close to it. So on this bit of a bounce, I might take the last of Affirm out and just be happy that we got that move. Marvell, I'm going to leave the stop in. Meta, I have the trail on. That just made a fresh high. So if it gets back underneath the previous high, I'm just going to get out. That was 333.60. It looks like it's headed to 334. I might take it. If it fails 334, I'll just get out on the way back in. We got 20 minutes to go and 10 minutes till the early look. And speaking of the early look imbalances, till the balances, the early look was 55 million. And in terms of individual names, there we go. Not a lot. But you do have one notable name on the imbalance early look, and that is Palantir for 1.4 million to buy. The rest of them, not that significant. Pfizer tends to have imbalances all the time that always pair off. But the early look is 1.4 million to the buy side on PLTR. I only say that because I know it's right around that $20 level, which has been so key. It's not really moving, but it is at the near the high of the day on PLTR. Worth watching as 350 approaches.
Palantir, huh? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're going to be on that name. We've liked it for a minute, but we haven't really traded it today. We were on it yesterday, and it got down in that 1975. I'm just watching this trade here because it's been working out for us. It's Google, and there it is, man. It did exactly, again, like this is part of what we're doing. It did exactly what we thought it would do. Broke up, we got an 88 fill. We actually took an 80 fill as well because it was there. Then when it popped up, we got some more out. So we are getting very, very light on this stock. So, I mean, we're almost out of this. I don't really have that much love for this stock anymore. It just keeps on failing, and that's why we're out. Like, we have like 20% left. So if this breaks down below, which it looks like it's trying to do immediately, then that's that. Look at this Tesla trade, guys. Honestly, I don't know what else. Like, we got stopped out pretty much at the bottom. Now Tesla's ripping. So, again, if you held that, congratulations. Wish I would have done it myself. But then we'd be huge in the money, but we're not. So we do not have that trade on board. So that kind of sucks. All right, Brendan, let's go.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Apply, and Meta rejecting 334 gets me out, so I'm no longer in that. It's interesting, I just talked about it testing that level, but it just wicked 334, so I jumped out of it. Also got out of that Affirm trade. It's an interesting time to have gotten out of Affirm because the market wicked the top and came back in, and Affirm kept going higher. I don't think I re-enter, but you never know. Like at 350, it might just present with another scalp trade if this were to sort of wick this top and come right back in. It's about a 30-cent range. Not that bad. Marvell, I'm just going to hang on to it. I'm not really going to move the stop or anything. If it breaks a local high, I get out. Otherwise, I'm looking for a VWAP retracement. It has been a wild day for the chip names. This recovering $1.50 from the bottom. But look at, Nvidia is a bit relentless. I got to give Nvidia credit. Nvidia up 1%. On a day where it looked like, hey, we've just failed 500, which on the daily chart, you get to 500 on Nvidia, And it's the same thing as when you get to 400. You get to 400, it's a long. You get to 500, it's been a short. Yesterday was confirmation of that truth. So today, what's it going to do? It's just going to trend up pretty much all day long. Go figure. That's not necessarily what I would have expected. Did not attempt to shorten it. I'd say thankfully, because clearly if you shorted this thing, there were some spots that you could have done it off 490, again off 493, but it's just ripping faces off to the upside. Okay, I see that in the chat. I see what's up. Don't fumble the bag like James Cook. But every now and then, he fumbled the ball and it bounced right back up to him. And I have issues with the fact that they benched James Cook, and it sends. I didn't like the fact that you're benching your starting running back who was playing well otherwise, but you wouldn't bench a receiver for making similar mental mistakes. It's like, okay, well, why does one get away with it and not the other? I'm not really sure what that's about, Buffalo Bills, but I'm sure they're going to figure it out at some point. But Nvidia, very, very impressive day today. It felt to all the world that this was making a pullback, and we'd see 4 or 5 red days in a row, at least a couple. When it went from 400 to 500, there was one red day in here, even though our chart doesn't show it. On the way back in, I was expecting this to be a start of something else. Ponzi, we're never benching our quarterback. That's my quarterback. Josh Allen ain't getting benched. He's all heart, he's all talent, and ride or die with Josh Allen. I'll tell you that right now. That's how Bills Nation feels. You ever been down there, like the amount of loyalty they have to a star quarterback? You go that long with dudes like J.P. Lossman and Trentative Edwards. Yeah, Trent Edwards, the guy never met a check down he didn't like. He just would not throw the ball downfield. We can't deal with that anymore. You get a good quarterback, you ride or die with that guy. You get a good trade, you ride or die with. It's exactly the same thing. But we'll get out if we break that top. 4 minutes to go till the imbalances. Hampton's Trader FSR. When would you go long? There was a bit of a discussion during lunchtime about where is the bottom on the EV names. Short answer, look, I don't know where the bottom's going to be. But Fisker is now down 13% again today. Should have shorted this one today. Look at this thing. I don't know where the bottom is going to be. But the second this shows a daily, if we get a double bottom on the daily, which resembles, I mean, this isn't really double, something along these lines, not this one, but kind of like this little double bottom in here off $5. If it can put that in at like $2.50 or even like $2, I think I would take a shot at one of these just for a nice bounce. Just look how far they're all falling. That's what it's about here. Whether it's that, whether it's Lucid or Polestar, that's the other one, PSNY at the $2 level. This has a little something brewing, maybe. I don't know about Fisker because it's shown no signs of making a bottom, but Polestar has. Look at the $2 level at Polestar. If it can bounce off this level one more time, break out here, which is about 240, close above 250, boom, long 250, $1.95 stop, moon, something along those lines. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, you want to see it make a bottom before you get into the long because they're all looking pretty nasty. Let's be real.
All right, Neil, we have 2 minutes and we're going to close the poll before the imbalances come out.
Oh, right.
So it's green now, obviously. We voted green, so obviously that's why the market's going up. No. So we'll wait to see where it goes from here, but there it is, the ES just turning green right now. So just a quick little look. We can close at 492. It's 50-50 right now. So that's funny because you're red, I'm green, and 50-50 right here as well. So the market is very uncertain according to our viewers. So 50-50, so now you can root for whatever. Yeah. But there it is right now. Now it's closed. So, the green wins just a little bit, 50-49.
Someone got it at the end.
509 votes. So, all right, let's see what happens. Fun times abound here. So we'll wait to see what's going on. And it's just so funny that our Tesla, we were just early on it. Like, had to play, fine, but should have, I don't know, could have, would have, should have. It was hitting levels. I like that. Could have had it, didn't. So that, unfortunately, is what's happening right now. Unfortunately for the Oakland Athletics, they will now be called the Las Vegas something or other. I don't know when that's going to start, but there goes that. Shout out to Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson, Mark McGuire, all of them that really created a special.
No love for Carney Lansford?
Yeah, I have lots of love for lots of guys.
Walt Weiss?
No, lots of love. Yeah. Just so we can keep going. But shout out to that. So I just... You know, I feel bad. Hopefully they build a nice dome there in Vegas. I couldn't imagine playing some outdoor games.
I don't feel bad. Now all of a sudden, I've never been to Vegas, and now I can watch baseball if I go to Vegas.
Yep.
I'm down with that.
You could definitely do that.
I got no issues with that. Roberto Alomar, Dennis Eckersley. If you're an Oakland fan, you haven't forgotten about it. Neither have we.
Yeah, no. We that's what I was saying.
Arms
We love Oakland around here. Some great series. Okay, so that was just that. So shout out to everybody there in the Bay Area. It sucks for sure. All right, so there goes Google right back up to the upside. As the market's running again. So if you wondered what I would do the next time the market comes up to its highs, there it is right there. You are 100% right. We'll do this too. We'll spin it there because that's all that we've been doing. Look, I'd rather give you guys trades that I kind of like based on levels, which is what this is, rather than try to hunt for something. We tried it on on Tesla and missed it. Intel's been great for us. We actually left it alone. Roblox, we got out right here, right where it is right now. That was a great trade earlier on, man. And we looked at it earlier, and I was like, where do we want to get long? And that was right down here at 37.50. Also on the daily, there was some levels here as well. The 200 period is right here at 37. So definitely some love there for anybody that's looking at Roblox. Good call for you guys on that one. After that, though, my biggest, really, it's not even close. I mean, this is a disgusting hit here today on Amazon. We shorted it all the way up, and I really, really believed in it, man. And the thing is, we were like, this is the problem. This, again, trade your own stuff and blah, blah, blah. But, we had a lot of shares there. Like, when that hit, and then right away that happened, it's literally a day changer. That kind of stuff can hit you all the time. The imbalances are now out, so let's have a quick look at that. We're only going to look at NASDAQ names right here. This is why we're getting, we're out of Google. Well, we're not out of it, but it's moving around. That number from the man is 520.
That's it?
Yeah.
Cisco and Intel
Not
to buy,
here.
$2 million each.
Yeah. So
those are the two big ones.
Hopefully that will rally some Google here. We're just holding, guys.
Intel's
We have 20% or so left. I'm trying to hold out for something bigger here, but it looks like that is what it is right now for this name. And in just a couple minutes, we're going live back over. Shout out to Hydration Nation.
I haven't even finished my water. That's bad. I usually get more through this. Well, can't both drink at the same time. The two buy imbalances, $2 million each on Intel and Cisco. They did literally the opposite. Cisco on the imbalance popped up and has been going higher. Intel, which was super strong literally all day long, actually came downside. Now, remember what we say about this? I don't know scientifically what the answer would be, but let's just say that when Intel has an imbalance and it's not a rebalance day, it tends to pair off the entire thing well before the close, almost every single time. It's got to be like 95%. I don't know the exact math, but it never stays. When it's a million, it just doesn't stay. But Cisco is not usually there, and Cisco was there today. It's more exciting when a name that isn't there shows up and has a reason to go up. Relief rally for Cisco in this case. So that was an example where if you were looking at that, you might have been able to catch a small breakout there and grab a piece of that move. But I don't know if you could. The algos are pretty quick with that. It used to be a little better before. I am going to just punch out. If it's not, okay, so I'll show you. If it doesn't have to run my stop, it didn't quite get there, but it got close enough, a cent or two away from running my stop on Marvell, so I got lucky that it didn't run the stop, and then it came right back in to essentially break even, or like a couple cent loss. Just take it out. I'm just going to get out. There's only 7 minutes to go until the market is closed. The show is not over. No. The market is closed, but then the show is going to continue after market. We get a great guest, and you have some earnings to get to as well in the market recap. But I will not put any new positions on, not this late in the day. Danny C, I did check out Fisker, then almost threw up in my mouth, and then realized that I do really I think there's going to be a really good bounce opportunity on some of these EV names. Just a bit of a loss as to where that might be. Fisker down another 13%. Ugh. It's not like you have any levels to work off of. Let's show up a weekly chart. Why not? Because when you think, hey, maybe if I pull up a weekly, this will look better. Let's go back. If you go back far enough, you can usually find something. That's a weekly chart. You guys tell me if this looks any better. Short answer, no.
Looks bad.
It looks really, really bad. but you're underneath $3. You get to $2, you get to $1. At some point, usually you can catch a bounce. I just know that trying to predict a bounce in a stock doing this, generally speaking, is going to get you in trouble because all it's doing is falling like a rock. It has not shown much signs of strength since about 420 when it bounced to $5. That's not a bad bounce, but since that little bounce, it's then dropped another 30% here. So not a good look for Fisker. It does stand out today. It's much worse than all the other names. Like you can look at Rivian. Like Rivian's not having a good day, but Fisker, Fisker is certainly taking the cake on this day. I'm not going to get to Mullen. Thoughts on Plug? I still think Plug is in the realm of underneath that $5. I want to look to short pops until it either breaks out this little channel that it made on the gap down, which is about 475. So I'm looking to short it, every single pop that it makes until it either gets to 3 or until it breaks out at like 475, $5. So Plug, they said going concern issues. I shorted a few times on the pop-up today. This one worked well. This one worked good. And then this one was out pretty much instantly for a 3-cent hit. And I haven't traded it since. Good thing, because Plug's actually rallying into the close here today.
Yeah, Plug Power. So we have one piece left of Google now. If it takes out the bottom, we're gone. John wanted me to ask this ball if there's going to be a free fall Friday. So let's ask it right now to find out as I got to go back over and get the desk ready. So stop asking and short Intel. So there you go. So that makes sense today. We'll see tomorrow,
well,
right?
if Intel falls to...
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's good. Stop asking and just short Intel.
Yeah, you want it to fall, short the strongest stock.
Yeah, to me, that means that this is going to most likely fall tomorrow. Short Intel, right? I think that makes sense. It's up huge. If there is going to be a fall tomorrow, Intel probably gives back as well as all the other names. So, okay, there we go. We will watch out for that. I am just going to take this last.
Well, I'd say Nvidia probably matters more if it falls.
Yeah. Well, Intel, I don't know. Intel's kind of holding these stocks up today, I think. Here we go. Google right now.
Well,
we're just going to take 11 cents here. That's it. We're out right now. Ring the register. There you go. So a hit on Tesla. Bunch of money there on Google, and it's just crazy that we lose that Tesla trade as it goes up to 234. But that's trading. You're definitely not going to hit them all. But make sure, as I said, we did talk about the show, and we're coming up very, very soon, man. Here we go. It's Traders Stay Late. It's me and JC. We're going to have some fun there. 4:15. Join me as we talk about sector recaps. Walmart. You guys want to know about Walmart? Wait for me. We're going to go over there. We're going to do this. It's been a big day, obviously, for us here on the show. I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and make sure you hit it, and make sure you visit and stay on. It's the same stream. So just going to go right over to me at the desk, and we will have a lot of fun. And then I want to tell everybody that tonight, the show's going to wrap up pretty much right at 4:30, 4:45-ish, because we have to turn off these computers because we are fixing the power issue finally. So we finally got an electrician, not named Randy, to come in here and fix up our breakers. So they're coming tonight. They're going to do a bunch of flipping over, and we will get some more juice into this system.
No more power outages live trading for you guys.
Yes.
Look,
yes. Well, there might be more, but.
Okay, fine. Look,
hopefully.
Hopefully not. In 2 years, it's happened, 3 times? And only twice, actually 4 times, only twice live on the show. A couple times it's happened in the pre-market when you guys wouldn't have seen it, but obviously we want to get that fixed. Like, it's not a heck of a lot of fun. We'll see you at the desk in just 3 minutes or so. The market is, temporarily green, 0.03%. Anyone that voted green, you're definitely good. We're joking about if there's a free fall Friday. I just feel the way that Nvidia was moving today, you need one of the strong names to give it up. So Nvidia was up 1%. If that can roll over, I think that would help. You talk about Microsoft as well. There we go. You talk about Microsoft as well. That's been super, super strong. It also, again, bad wick on the chart. It's going to close at another high. So you're not getting a free fall Friday without this turning. It's too big. Nvidia is big, but Microsoft obviously a lot bigger. I still don't know the exact number at which Microsoft becomes a bigger market cap than Apple. Someone's going to... The funny thing about it, the day that it happens, 1 million people are going to be talking about it, so you'll be able to get to it at that point. So, Microsoft's going to have to roll over if you want a free fall Friday. Apple clearly as well. So super strong moves. 1.6% up on Microsoft into a flat market. And it's making all-time highs. This is an absolute beast. I'm on the wrong page. That's the bad one. That's the better one. Congratulations! Anywhere you have this name, when it's making it's making a high like this, it's going to close at a new high because it's been an absolute beast. Shout out to everyone in the chat who has been on the right side of this trade. I think sometimes you can get cute when you got a bit of a bias, but there has not been a reason to short this in the last little bit. I'm glad that nobody has, or at least nobody that I know of has. One last thing to get to. It has been the runner, and with 1 minute left, it just made another high. I'll tell you right now, I missed my long this early on Intel. I have one regret, that's not being long here. Should have been long when this got back to that 42 for a dip, but you got to get in when you can. 7% to the upside. The last time it did this was last earnings. Let's be real. With less than 1 minute to go, Jameson, Barma, are there any numbers coming out tomorrow? He has a couple numbers coming out tomorrow morning. Hit the Ponzi button, John Spruill says. What is the Ponzi button? If we had one, trust me, I would hit it for sure, but I don't know what it is. So apparently we'll hit that button right there, which is the like and subscribe. As Adara gets on over to ring the bell, special shout out to them with the midday show doing fantastic education, I want to say. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. A, being able to listen in, but also seeing everybody get so much out of that. But get the camera off me, get over to the screen. We got a bell to ring. The countdown is on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you know what to do, which is ring it. So the market is closed, but the day is not over. It's 4 o'clock. We just finished the ES 0.1. I saw 0.1. So if you were one of the 50% that voted green in the poll, then you would be correct. If you're the 49, then you lost. But that's how it goes in the market. Flat day, but a ton of things moving 5, 10% or more. You see Intel up. You see all the EVs to the downside. Big movers, and there's more to come. Shout out. I want to thank Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Want to thank Sharif and Adara for the midday show, doing a great job as always. Brendan at the desk with our guest, Frank Carberna, today. I want to thank him for coming through. But let's get right on over. You have some earnings to get to and a massive guest in the market recap show. We're going to welcome all of that in a few seconds while you teleport from here to there with Sean.
Yeah, baby, we're here. We are live and ready to rock and roll once again. Thank you so much for joining this pre-market show. Oh no, none of my layouts. P-Pro 8's trying to load. It should load up here in the background in just 1 minute. Hopefully we can show you the trade of the day. But look, I'm excited. We are going to have JC Peretz coming through from All-Star Charts. So get ready for that at about 4:15-ish or so. That should be exciting. Why is nothing loading for me? I don't know. Oh, it might be on the wrong screen. Oh, no. There, that's okay. We're good to go. We are waiting for AMAT right now. What? AMAT... investigation? What the heck? I thought we were waiting for some earnings right here. We got AMAT right now. Chip equipment maker, applied materials under U.S. criminal investigation. Okay. Right there, AMAT making that move down. We are waiting for earnings, as you can see on the board there. It's going to be AMAT and GPS. And I just want everyone to know that we will use the Benzinga Pro platform. Right there, AMAT materials probed for shipping equipment to China's SMIC via South Korea without a license. This is my kind of story right now. Maybe we can build up a, I don't know, some sort of a movie about this. There it is, applied materials. Now, I don't know how serious this is, but look at that. There's the move down even before we have earnings. We will also show you again, get it from Trade Ideas. Here we go. This is your post-market scanner. Anything that hits, we will be all over it. I guess I got to push play. I think it starts automatically. There we go. So anything that hits will come in here, and I will get that to you live. There's AMAT. AMAT is making the move down in right now. You see the daily chart. AMAT coming up to 140 or so right now for AMAT. We've got our water. We've got everything ready to go. And what a crazy day it was again here today in the markets. As you could see, I mean, kind of lame at the end of the day. Congratulations to anybody that said, we're closing green. You're on the right side with this guy there today as we hit that Google trade at the end. Nice trade there. Green market turned around. It was silver leading the way today. Silver and gold, which reminds me, I got to watch that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie pretty soon as we go through all of the holiday classics with our family. So we'll watch Frosty, and you got to watch the old gangster ones, right? Yeah. So we watching those ones coming through. Silver and Gold. What's that guy's name again? Nah, not Grinch. Stop it. The guy that mines them. Let me see the chat. Shout out to the chat. You guys will know. My wife knows exactly who it is. Randy the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, that would be hilarious. We do have that coming through. No, not Jock. Yeah, it is the Orson Welles, but it's okay. Anyways, let's go. That's AMAT coming through. We will wait for some more. But today, what was up with today? Okay, we had technology up there. It is the XLK. What did the Qs wind up? Up 0.1 at the end of the day. There's really something wrong with this computer. Unfortunately, I feel like everything's taking a while. My layout hasn't loaded, so maybe we won't be able to go over our trade of the day, but we'll figure that out after. It's like it's stopping loading all my layouts and everything, so we'll figure that out. But the triple Qs today making another high. I do want to ask JC about this. He turned bullish back in October, not making a new high today. Let's go over to the daily chart quickly. There it was right here. We're at highs. We didn't break through yesterday, but we'll wait to see if 387 and change can come through the Qs. You're at 386. You're pretty darn close to that. What turned JC bullish back in October? I think it's going to be price action. That's what he trades off of. So we'll see about that coming very, very soon to you guys coming out. That's the Qs. XLI today, industrials catching a bid over the last little while as rates start to come back in. No talk yet of cuts until the new year. We're talking about March, April, May, in and around the first quarter of 2024. They are looking to make some. See how this is still low? Like, what's going on with my or my trade ideas even today? Let's zoom back down. Wow, what a bad day again for oil. Breaking now below this 200 period moving average there for oil. So that's USO, this is the United States Oil Fund. So this isn't oil, exactly, but the fund, if you're watching it, it's a break back down below. It's into $68 again. To me, the most interesting index out of them all, right? Did anyone figure that guy's name out yet? Where's my wife? Oh no, she's at parent-teacher interviews tonight. You know what I'm talking about? It's the guy that says silver and gold, and then he is with the Sasquatch there. What the heck? It's Burl Ives. Yes, I know what movie it is, but what is the guy's name there that takes on and anyways. We'll find that out. Now it's bugging me. There it is right there. Thank you so much, Nathan. Comes out with it. It's Yukon Cornelius, of course. There it is, as that rings a bell with Fabian over there as well. Yukon Cornelius right now. So that was pretty cool. Thank you so much for that, because honestly, I almost couldn't continue the show without knowing what that was. But it's FXI here. Let's talk a little bit about that. So today, FXI, again, this is the large cap Chinese ETF. So you're going to hold the BABAs in the world. And we can actually, Breno, could you maybe find the weightings? I mean, I can check it out. FXI weightings right now. I just want to see like which, here it is right here, which names. Okay, well that's the, all right, we got to find out which names are actually in this before I start talking about it. It's going to be their 10 cents of the world. The Alibabas, yeah, let's accept it all, who cares? All right, where are the holdings? We'll get this in a second. I just don't want to go over it all with you here live, but there it is. Okay, here it is. We got it, baby, right there. Brennan, take it easy, I got it. Okay, right there, 10-cent holdings, 9%. There it is, it's Alibaba coming through with 8.5% as well. No idea what this is. Mutan. This seems like a Pokemon maybe. China Construction Bank Corp coming in. I'm not going to know many of these, man. But there's JD, again, insurance companies. Xiaomi is here. BYD, we know about that. So again, I think you may want to, look at FXI, and I really like that ETF, and I think it takes away single stock risk, right? I mean, that is the whole point of that. All right, one of my favorite things to do is this. No, Ramin says nope, not ready. Okay, so we'll hold off on that, Ramin, don't worry about it. Okay, what did AMAT come out? AMAT does come out. Before we look at what happened to the stock, let's go. It's AMAT, it's Q3 adjusted, 212 versus 2. I like. Revenues, 6.7 versus 6.5, I like too. So let's go find out what the stock is doing. Miss, and then they have that, ever dangerous probe that they're going to be having in there for shipping parts through South Korea. Tricky right now. There it is. They do not like the number. It appears to be a miss right now for AMAT down to the downside. Let's just double check if Gap has out yet. Again, I said on the show that if we're going to go on the daily chart here, I really think Gap does have a chance. And the reason why is if Gap can put out a number here where they show potentially a forecast growth, like, you know, expected beat on their revenue, looking forward, what are going to be the catalysts, then honestly, I think, let's just zoom out a little bit here. I think we could take out this $15 mark up to $15.40 and change. Let's look to see if we can take it out. Part of the reason for that is going to be the short float. So if we can get a short float number here, 18% plus, come up with some kind of a beat, I really like that opportunity, and I think there's going to be that right now for Gap. So we'll wait to see when it comes through right now. What else was moving around today? I still like the solar ETF, man. I like this tan, but I liked it more at 40 than anything else. So now you're up to 45. Nice little 20% mover. So sorry, 48 was the top. That's 20% from the bottom. Can you believe that? One thing, again, that I'm learning more and more, it's called math. It's like the more that these stocks fall down, like a little 20% move up, it's great for your portfolio. Like if you can scalp these moves, that's great. And I feel like we talked about the interest rate environment changing. If that can continue, then I do like SolareEdge. I do like Enphase. I do like First Solar. And I think that, hey, man, if you're going to stick with new technology, I don't know if solar is the thing. I mean, stay tuned for next month when we have Elon on our show. I'm going to talk to him about solar. We do not have that planned or scheduled. Hopefully we can get it. $48. No, we're not going to get it. $48 right there on the 50 period. No pressure, anybody? $48 right there, the 50 period. I like tan. If you like solar, I still feel like there is an opportunity to buy this right now. XLE, I'm going to give a big shout out to Michael Noss for this one as well. We were long XLE. He liked it here. It dipped back down in. I didn't do anything about that. Came back up. I trusted myself and some of the talk that he and I had right here on this show. We got some out on XLE, so I'm pretty happy with that as it drips back over. Another position that I got out of today, and again, it was just barely for a winner, so just happy about it. We were able to buy some Shopify and all of this garbage, and then we got some back out up here as Shopify comes right back into May highs. So I cleared out a quarter of our position. We're still stuck on this, basically flat. We were buying Shopify way from long time ago, came back into this level. I feel like today in this market, what's worth it is to scalp in and out. Yeah, my Prosper Pro has completely crashed over here, so unfortunately, we won't be able to do too much logins for that unless I hit Control-Alt-Delete, but then my screen goes blank. So yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to do that. So we'll just go on with today and what we're doing today. Brendan just sent me a message. Right, okay, we got that. Yeah, we got JC Peretz coming on and something special that he wants to talk about, some giveaways, and talking maybe about Bitcoin today. So we'll talk about that with him, and we'll see what's flying through. It's 4:10 right now. IWA, KRE. KREs are interesting to me. I'm going to find out which names are maybe lagging in this environment. If the banks are, what about KRE coming back in right now, trying to take out the 200 period moving average? I feel like there is room back up to the upside here for the regional banks. We're sort of through Silicon Valley, and if rates can become under control, and First Republic, I don't want to forget about all these banks, but if we're through the rate hike cycle, I feel like there is going to be some love right now. Let's just do a quick little roll call. Let's see who's here with us right now. Bears versus Bulls is here. Good. Juan Padilla is here. I'll give you guys a second to get going. Thank you to Bears versus Bulls for everything that he's doing for me as well. He's got the super chat going. Now that we can do this, let's just open this up a little bit, show our charting just a little bit better for everybody. All right, now we've got the roll call pumping up. All right, hey, Pranya, thank you so much. You had a good chat there. I believe it was about Google on our main show there. What's up to S2K Colin as well? Some new people that I'm seeing come through right now. Shout out to everybody that's here with me. We're doing it, man. Shan Mod is here. Joe Finero is here. Chris RML is here. Hans Beer, what's up, man? Andrew Chow is here. Dr. Strange. Everybody is in the building, and I could not be happier. Over 2,500 people watching. We're the real ones, man. This is Trader TV Live, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. Real traders stay late, and we're about to have a real trader come on right very, very soon. Mr. JC Peretz coming through. I'm super excited, man. I feel like we'll have a lot in common. I mean, we'll see if we can kick it off or not. XLP coming through, the SPH, SPY, SMH. Look at the SMH, man. This is a big one for me. If SMH holds this top into Nvidia earnings, What does that mean? Last time Nvidia came out with a big number, we fell back down 20%. Let's take a quick look at the Nvidia chart. When does Nvidia report, you might say? Well, they come up pretty darn soon, man. Nvidia coming out on the 21st, post-market. We'll look at that. Is Gap out yet? Remember, we are looking at Benzinga. I don't see Gap coming out yet, so stay tuned for that one. Remember, we do have this board coming through as well. This is traded. It looks like Ross Stores out as well. Ross Stores heading to the upside, hitting off from that 120. It's a nice move up, 1.94% for Ross, kicking it out right now. The trade to look at, I feel like, is going to be AMAT. AMAT pulling back into $145. What does AMAT look like on the daily? Well, look at this. Coming into the 50 period. I'm not a CMT. JC's a CMT. What about the 50 period right here on the daily for AMAT down here at 140? Look, regardless of the stories that come in, price action is truth. That is a fact. That's what I use for day trading. Unfortunately, I can't get my day trading account to load up here, so I won't be able to show you some of the trades that I made today, but that is something that we do. So the trade of the day, we'll talk about it. We had some good trades today, including Intel off that bottom. Nice move there. What bottom for Intel? Look at this move for Intel today, by the way. We just talked about SMH. Look at Intel. If this is not a big middle finger to the shorts, then I don't know what is. Breaking through the daily right there of 40 bucks. Look at this. Again, going all the way back. Can we go to my screen if you get a second here, Fabian? Look at that. Going all the way back into $40. Look where this goes back into. July of 2022 here for Intel. So Intel with a nice move right there, taking out that high. And if you're ever going to get long, guys, I believe that break right there, $40 was a great one. Look, not to toot our own horn a little bit here, but you see these triple bottoms that came in on Intel on the daily, 1, 2, 3. I actually didn't buy until this third one, making the move back up. Just foundry talk, a little bit of a switch up in their direction. Remember, Intel also cut their dividend as well, allowing them for some more free cash flow, heading back up to the upside. There it goes. It's a nice move up to $43. So let's go like this. Ba, 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 ba. Bang for shareholders of Intel. There was a good short in Intel today, though. If you're looking at a 3-minute mark, and again, I can't prove it to you because I don't have my charts right now for what I had executions, but I had this top at 42.55. It pulled back down in. Then look at this base. To me, that top's impressive. It's great. That's more of a shot in the dark. Waiting for exhaustion candle to come in, then hitting it back down. Remember, this is a 3-minute chart. This was a better trade. This hold right there of 41.80, bouncing off the 50 period. I use the 50 period when I'm day trading. This is it on the 3-minute chart. Look how clean. If JC's watching, look at this move here on the 50 period. It hits early, it hits again, and then it hits again at the end of the day, holding support, giving you that bump up. So if you rode this baby all the way, this looks like a roller coaster with no cliff. So watch out for that one. It's a nice move there for Intel. Look, I'm super excited right now as we are getting ready, guys. Let me know when JC's ready. We'll throw over there. JC will also be sharing his screens. I have some questions for him. I'm super excited to have this talk. Look at gold. All right, so gold on a daily. Gold today up nicely, up that 1.6%, and looking to take out some of these highs, right? I think gold's important for diversification. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys that. I feel like you want to be diversified if you're in a long-term portfolio. But to me, I don't know. I got a message from my banker today, or no, it wasn't today. It was last week, actually. I was messaging him about something else. I self-direct all my trades. So I don't... I've been responsible. I've been basically building my own portfolio since I graduated university and started here 22 years ago, right? So I've been building some portfolios. And again, I talked about I was watching Jim Cramer with my father as a young kid. So I've always thought about best of breed and diversification. But I've never got into gold. So I know that doesn't make much sense. What I was getting at was you could get right now, I was talking, and it was about 5.5% for, I think it was a 12-month GIC. So that is a guaranteed investment certificate. So you can't pull your money out. It's locked in there for 12 months, right? And so 6%-ish, I think it was 5.9 something. That's pretty decent. So I feel like that's a good spot, if you're looking for a safety haven. But nothing beats the indexes. And I know I don't have to tell JC that. Index is up nicely. The NASDAQ is up a paltry 43% this year. So yeah, man, bull market or not, whatever you believe in, prices don't lie. Look at these Qs right now. Huge move up to the upside and now taking this out. Like, you're telling me this bounce off the 200 period? Look at this, straight up to the upside. Guys, let me know when we are ready. Okay, not ready yet. All right, good. So we'll keep going. Right now, SLV here, silver, up that 1.4% today as well. Coming back into commodities. I think there's going to be some talk there as we go. I'm still waiting for GPS, and it's a good thing because GPS right now is out. So we'll hit this little breaking news graphic right here that will build for GPS. I just talked about GPS burning with a good report. If they can come out with that good report, I was looking at 1560, taking that out. Look at the short percent up here, 18%. Huge move to the upside right now for this. So there it goes. It's there. Let's go over the numbers. Here's a 1-minute chart so we can all see it live together. It's a nice move up on gap. Let me just pull up from Benzinga platform. Again, the place that we're getting our news from right now is Benzinga. What, Benzinga? Come on, man. I just talked about you, and now you don't even have the earnings report on here? Okay, so we'll have to wait. It's not on here yet. We still talked about AMAT here. Strong beat, strong guidance. It's the shares sliding on AMAT here for this criminal investigation. Criminal investigations, no bueno for stocks, as we all know. So we'll have to wait for that. Come on, GPS. I don't have the numbers, but it doesn't matter. It's a nice move up. We'll see about that. There's AMAT right now. It's making that move down. Applied Materials, again, good quarter, good guide. Worried about shipments, some questionable shipments happening in through South Korea there for AMAT. Here's the numbers. We have JC now, I understand. Okay, good. So right now, just quickly, Gap right here, 59 cents. Beats what? Beats 18 cents. Okay. Nice move there for Gap. Revenues, so on and so forth. But you know what, man? There's no better guest that's going to tell me that price action is all that matters. And Gap right now, I don't want to put words in his mouth. Gap making that move up to 14.75. All right, here we go. We've been waiting for this, and we're excited. First time ever on Trader TV Live. Let's bring him in. Let's go with Trader Talk. It's happening now. Oh, I got to get centered here. Mr. JC Peretz, how are you, my friend? Thank you for joining us live here at Trader TV. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Nice bull market. You know, investors get paid well in bull markets if they own stocks, right? That's how it is in my experience. So I appreciate the invite. So yes, things are going well. Thanks.
I have to introduce you, All Star Charts founder and chief strategist. That must be fun. A lot of work on that. Checked out your website. It's beautiful. We do have something to talk about. 100K Bitcoin. We'll drop that link in the chat and talk about that. I was watching your show this morning. This is what you said. Okay, it's. I think you know what we're going to talk about here. You said if you hate tech, and I think you said this to Spencer, not sure who it was, then you are an idiot. That's what you said. So right now, if you come over to my screen real quick, and I know you probably have it all locked up and loaded as well, the Qs is absolutely on fire right now, bouncing huge off this 200 period moving average. And yeah, man, the bull market, as you said, is now intact. What made you, JC, if we can go back to the double screen here, guys, what made you bullish? And I heard you on your sort of podcast show this morning, you were bullish early October. Was there a sign that gave you those indicators?
Yeah, so you know, it's not so much bullish in early October as it is things started to change in early October. We started recognizing that in mid-October, in the back half, most certainly. But people forget that it is a market of stocks, right? It's not just a stock market. So we're in a bull market, right? Stocks have done very well over the last 13 months.
Yep.
We had a very normal seasonal correction like we've seen so many times before. Pessimism starts to blow up. Everybody thinks the market's about to fall apart once again because they failed to zoom out and understand that stocks are in uptrend. So we were looking for opportunities, as they say, buy in October and get yourself sober. There's a reason that they say that, and this year was no different. And we could talk about some of those signs in a minute, but get back to your earlier question about if you hate tech, you're an idiot. Now, to be fair, it was within the context of the conversation at the time, which was about sort of in general, because if you go and study every bull market over the last 100 years, almost every single one, 90% of those bull markets, technology was a leader. So if you don't buy technology stocks or whatever, you're going to miss a leading sector in almost every single bull market. So but in my book, that makes you an idiot, right? So again, there's a time and a place for everything. You mentioned gold. I don't necessarily think you need to own gold always. There's a time to own gold and there's a time to short gold, right? There's a time and a place for everything. Technology included, by the way.
Yeah.
We were selling technology stocks in July, right? We were bearish technology stocks in early part of last year. We were bullish technology stocks at the beginning of the year. We're bullish technology stocks now because they're leaders in this particular bull market. So again, even technology, there's a time and a place. So getting back to why we were looking to buy stocks in October, other than the very obvious that historically is a great time to be buying stocks, we don't just defer to seasonality, although we know it exists. We want to defer to the underlying trends. And as you can see here, there are people out there that will look you straight in the eye and tell you that we've been in a bear market. Like, we have the data. It has not been a bear market.
No, it has not. I mean, look at that. XLU 449. I mean, that's the lowest one on there. What is this from? Since is this from the beginning of the year, or are you charting it back?
This is from the October lows last year. So about 13 months of data.
Right.
Go back. I encourage everybody listening. Go back and study every bull market in history. You know what you're going to see? The leading sectors are technology, industrials, consumer discretionary. Well, guess what? What are the best performing sectors now? Technology, industrials, consumer discretionary. Those are the best sectors, right? Communications is up there. As we all know, those are essentially technology stocks. So, and then historically in bull markets, what are the worst performing sectors? Utilities, consumer staples, healthcare. And guess what? It's the same thing this time.
You know what? It's just basically about rinsing and repeating all the time, right? Stay diligent, right? I mean, that's what All-Star Charts, that's what we're all about over here. Keep looking at your portfolio, reassess it, listen to smart guys like you, not like me, but like you, and we'll be able to figure this thing out. Quickly on something here. What about Santa Claus Rally? Are we starting early? I saw you post something that it happens, what, December 22nd this year?
Yeah.
So I see, I did my research, JC. I saw that. Is that something that seasonality you look for swing trades? Or is that just something that just matter-of-factly happens and, you know, something to look at? You know, if you're in it, you're in it. Is it aggressive enough for something that we should be looking for near the end of the year?
I'm more interested if Santa doesn't show up.
Right.
Right. So I'm not
Slap a fail
necessarily
on Santa.
positioning for a swing trade in that particular moment in time or whatever it is, right? Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is understand that historically, this is a time of year where stocks do well. The last 5 days of the year and the first 2 of the following year.
Okay.
It's a 7-day period where historically they do very, very well. When you compare the returns of that period versus any other random 7 days throughout the year, it's a complete outlier. But the real information is when Santa don't show.
Yeah.
Just like seasonality in general. So, you know, here we are in a pre-election year. Here's the 4-year presidential cycle, by the way. A great time historically to be buying stocks is, you know, right around the midterm elections. Guess what? Last year, right around the midterm elections, great time to be buying stocks. Coming into the year, the first 6 months of the year were the best first 6 months in the history of the NASDAQ. Stocks did very well, as they should have, right? Perfectly normal, right? Nothing to see here, move right along. And then in the third quarter, historically, stocks struggle. You get that August, September, October sort of weakness. And hey, what do you know? You got that this year too. And then historically, you want to remember to buy in November, right? Buy in October and get yourself silver. All these little silly sayings come from data that suggests that's historically a good thing to do. We were obviously doing that, and that has paid off very well. In addition to that, this is a time in November where small caps start to outperform large caps. We've started to see some of that as well. And then when you're looking here, this is every pre-election year going back to 1950, every single one. And then the one in red is this one. So when people tell you how crazy the market is, how, you know, how insane, you know, it's doing all these crazy things, I don't remember a more normal market. Like, I don't remember a more average, standard, typical stock market, as standard and classic as it gets. And you have leaders.
Right.
You need leaders. You need sector rotation and leadership. And we continue to see that. And then I wanted to just kind of circle back on the question that you asked me about early October. And I think this slide right here really tells the story well. the negative correlation, actually, why don't we start here? The negative correlation between equities and the US dollar has been very, very strong. When the dollar is strong, stocks are weak.
Yes.
When the dollar is weak, stocks are strong, not just in the United States, but globally. It hasn't always been the case, but the correlation's really been strong and positive over the last 7-8 years. And you can see that right here in this chart. As soon as the dollar bottomed in July, that day, the new 52-week highs list peaked. That wasn't a coincidence, right? The day that the dollar peaked on October the 3rd was the day that the new 52-week lows list peaked.
Boom.
Again, not a coincidence. So with with a weak dollar, we've seen strong stocks, and emerging market currencies were ripping throughout October. So in an environment where they're telling us that the dollar is strong, it actually wasn't, right? Emerging market currencies underneath the surface were ripping. The Polish zloty is just one example, but you can look at the Mexican peso and others.
So many.
That was evidence underneath the surface of a weaker dollar. It's telling us to buy stocks, and we were listening.
JC, honestly, like the passion that you have obviously reminds a lot of me and how I day trade as well. And I talk with my hands. So I don't know if that's an Italian thing. What is your background?
I'm Cuban, so Cuban from Spain. So there's some similarities there.
We're hot-blooded. We're both hot-blooded. I like that one for sure right now. Okay, real quick. You just mentioned there the small caps. The IWM did have a big move there yesterday, coming back in here today. One thing, it's a two-part question, but I want to get over something that you tweeted out here the other day. And if you can look, it was about Eli Lilly. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know obviously you're a man of math and conviction. So right now, you said you've been putting on bullish bets. So that's obvious. We've just talked about that and why in last week. But right now, you're trying to do the exact opposite with Eli Lilly. Now, our crowd likes this name. And obviously, like you said, investors like money. And if you've been invested in Eli Lilly, you've gotten a lot of money. I've trimmed myself on this name, getting to the upside. I believe sometimes it's buy the news. No, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's what it is. And right here, bumping its head up against these levels, Eli Lilly. Tell us the story of what you're thinking here with Eli Lilly.
Yeah, listen, it's not like I'm one of these perma bears that's been fighting this uptrend. You know what I mean? You got those. I've been the opposite. I've really, really liked this trend. We've been bullish. Our targets were hit, right?
Yep.
And after our targets are hit, we move on and we observe the behavior of the market more objectively because we don't have a horse in the race. We don't care. And what we were noticing is that, first of all, our targets are hit. Our targets are those levels for a reason, and the market tends to respect them. So I've been looking to sell calls naked. And I bring it up in our meetings when we're coming up with our trades, and they were going into earnings, and it just didn't work, right? So we just haven't had a position for quite some time. And it's kind of just been hanging around, lingering. And what we saw is really good news the other day. They're talking about their obesity drugs are good for the heart or whatever it is. Good news theoretically. The Dow's up 500 points. The market's absolutely ripping. Small caps are up 4.5%. Eli Lilly's down like 4% on good news.
Right.
In a great tape, right? So there's something up there, kind of buy that rumor, sell the news. So even before that, I was already more interested in not so much betting on downside as I was betting on a lack of further upside, at least for now. I don't think it goes to zero.
No.
I think that some consolidation is certainly warranted. So we bought the puts. We bought the 600 puts out in April, right? Do I have that right? We got the April puts. Yep, we got the April put spread. So we bought the 600 puts, but then we also sold the 500 puts to collect a little bit of income, help pay for that.
Yep.
So our upside is capped because we sold those 500s, but that 500 actually is a target for us. So we're okay with that. So that's the trade. April 600 puts long, selling an equal amount of the April 500 puts for the spread. You can actually see what that looks like here. Here's the P&L. That's what it looks like. And if you look at that gap, I think we fill that gap, right?
Great call there. And I feel like exactly what you said there. Once targets are hit, move on. Oh, no, you're not giving me that bell when we have JC here. We're not running out of time right now.
I gotta hop in 1 minute. So
okay,
what else
then
got?
quickly
Final
here.
question.
Quickly, Michael Noss, Brian Shannon, fellow CMTs. I see Michael Noss is here in the chat. He says, what's up to you as well. And quickly, man, I can't do you dirty like this. Go over here. We'll put this in crypto.stockmarkettv.com/Bitcoin. We'll put this in the chat. Go get your email. Check out Bitcoin to 100,000. Is that just rhetorical, or do you actually think Bitcoin gets to 100K? And do you have a time for that? I don't know. We hear crazy calls all the time.
Yeah, I think it goes to about 120 probably is the next level. You know, I'm no math major, but we got to get through 100 first. So let's get there and then talk about 120. But that's probably where we get to 120 on this next cycle. And probably, I mean, realistically, I think probably much higher than that. The question is when. I'm more interested in the now than in 10 years or 20 years. I can't think that far ahead. So I'm thinking like this cycle. I don't think we just retest those levels. I think we, 65 or so. I think we break right through that and go through 100. And the risk is 31, right? So I really like the risk versus reward because if Bitcoin is not above 31,000, we don't want to be long. So that's the risk. So if to the upside we can get to 120, but the downside is 31, I like those. I've liked them, right? We want to buy the breakout above 31. So that's where we're at. So 31 is your big level. If you're below that, leave it alone. It's messy under there. Above 31, I think it's irresponsible to not be long. I think the risk is not having enough exposure. That's how I look at Bitcoin.
Great. We'll drop that in the chat. And I know you're a big football fan. Jets or Giants?
I don't give a damn about either one. Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Let me give you a play. Hey, let's go, man. I'm a Packers fan, so I'm not there this year, baby. But what about this play tonight? Come to my screen. I know you got to go. Tyler Boyd. Tonight is Cincinnati versus Baltimore. Tyler Boyd has averaged 4.9 receptions a game. Today, no T. Higgins, right? Boyd slides into the number 2. He got 12 targets last week. He got 8 receptions. This is Tyler Boyd. It's plus 100. Let's go hit that, JC. Thank you so much tonight for this. I really appreciate it, man. Promise me we'll do this again.
Anytime you want. Let me know.
That's the guy right there. It's JC Peretz. Thank you so much. Wow. And guys, you know what? Like, to be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous about that because I'm a fan. And I think that went super. Look, when you have conviction like that and you can back it up with stats, that's what trading is all about. We talk about that live every single day on the show. Like, I don't ever get into a position until I have a risk parameter in order to get out. So I want to give a big shout out to you, JC. Thank you so much for explaining that on even a longer term level there. Shout out to Michael Noss, Brian Shannon, and everybody that's in the chat. And I just want to thank all of you guys that are in the chat as well. We got to get out of here, but I don't get out of here without doing one more thing. And that is a shout out to everybody that super chatted today or everybody that's here, period. I mean, we do this roll call. Let's do this real quick right now. Roll call for anybody that's in the building right now. Thank you so much for joining me, as I had a problem loading my software to show my trades, but we'll be back. We'll be back, baby. Right now, thank you so much to everybody that's here. Manny's here. D-Loaf is here. Aaron is here. Bull Shark Trader's here. Alex Davis. Neil and I have to go, man. We have a friends dinner today from high school, so that should be a lot of fun. We're going out today. Paint the town tonight. Probably not. We'll probably be home by 8 o'clock. But there it is right now. You are the best. No, thank you, Trader Forever. You are. Super chats today. Christy, Sci-Fi, Lucas, Lori, Harpreet Singh. What's up? One of our good friends meeting us tonight's name's Harpreet as well. Go Explore, Vadzim, The Hayes Records, Diamond Realty, Samuel, and Nick. Thank you so much for everything. And a shout out to everybody that's here, man. We really, really enjoy doing this show. Traders stay late. We talk about that consistently. That's why I'm here with you every single day. We're going to get better. We're going to make some great calls, and that's what we're doing with you. Great guests. Banging it out today with JC. Really, really proud of that. So happy to have him on and happy to have you with us. Make sure you join me tomorrow. It's Friday, baby, and it's going to be another one. I can't wait to hit the keys every single day. So if you're like me, we're on the same page. So let's go. I got to go out to dinner. Love you, my family. Love everybody out there. Ciao from Sean.